Room with AC, and we're going to crank up the heat here at the Yard. Orioles baseball right now on Masson. It's the Orioles on Masson, and Birdland is the site, and the fans coming in for a true summer evening ball game. The Indians and the Orioles game 2 of this 4-game set. It has not been a pleasant spell for the Orioles of late. The bats, the defense, and the pitching has not been good, especially that starting pitching. Hi, everybody. I'm Gary Thorne. Over the last 3 games, starting pitcher ERA, 11.66. You're not going to win many ball games with that. So tonight, they turn to Jake Arrieta. Is he on the uphill climb? Let's take a look at the numbers. For Arrieta, you look the season 3-9, but the last 3 starts 1-1. ERA much better in the last 3. The opponent batting average has dipped down, and the pitches per inning has dropped down. So has his run support, so he's going to pitch that much better. What's he got to do to get it done? Take a look at what he said. In our worth repeating, my whole thought process is really just execution, not mechanical. When I get in that thought process of being too mechanical, that's when things go wrong, or I'm not able to stop the bleeding. So keeping it simple, focus on quality pitches, executing, that's what I want to do. Those are his comments after his last start. And Jim Palmer, I don't think anybody disagrees with that.
Well, no, because we all know he has great stuff. Supposed to be the #1 guy, elbow surgery, had the chips taken out, healthy. Did not have a good spring, but I came to the big leagues when I was 19, Gary, and Hank Bauer, my manager, played on 5 straight world championship teams. He says, stop thinking, just throw the ball. So, with that said, I think we've seen Jake do that. Overwhelming stuff. He's got 4 pitches. And even against Washington, the Orioles won that game on an 8th-inning home run by Matt Wieters, 2-1. Gave up a kind of a lucky double, and Zimmerman got a base hit. But he pitched out of trouble in the 6th inning. Runners at first and third. Bryce Harper up. The wonder kid, 19-year-old kid, made a great pitch, got a double play, and didn't win the game, but he allowed the Orioles to win. That's what they need tonight.
And I think, Jim, it's very important that he is saying that, because he's got to understand that that's the problem before he can do anything about it. Buck Showalter's been saying to that all year to him, stop thinking so much, just throw the baseball across the plate, trust yourself. Maybe he's getting there.
Well, he's not young, because he's 26, but he's young as far as experience. So again, I always said what allowed me to get to the point where I felt comfortable is you get out there and you learn from some of your mistakes. And again, this is a guy, he's 3-9. We had a long talk up in Boston. I said I was once 2-7, went from 2-0 to 2-7, and it's hard to be in the moment because they can't take away his record 3-9. They can't take away those 9 losses. So hopefully, as he has been in his last 3 starts, be in the moment tonight. You learn from last night. He knows he has to give the Orioles a chance to win. As you mentioned, the starters haven't done that. That has to change because they're not scoring runs.
And scoring runs tonight, the Orioles hope the numbers against the opposing pitcher will be just what they are. Derek Lowe is a veteran, but he's having a real problem getting people out. He's giving up a lot of runs. He's giving up a lot of hits. The Oriole bats need that kind of a night to come unglued. And as Mr. Jones says in center, hitting is contagious, just like it's always been in baseball. What we need is a start. Maybe tonight will be it. So dig into that ice chest, settle back, turn that air conditioner up to something reasonable. We'll be right back. On Masson is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. And by Jeep. Jeep and the unique brand of freedom you'll find only in the full line of Jeep vehicles. Visit Jeep.com to learn more. And I know you're all waiting for our Jeep, for our train game time temperature. Take a look at this. 102 degrees. Humidity at 37%. Partly cloudy skies, and the heat index is 112. Visit train.com for an independent train comfort specialist dealer near you. It's hard to stop a train. All right, let's take a look at the starting lineup for Maniacta's Indians, brought to you by Dodge. It'll be Chu, Cabrera, and Kipnis, Brantley, Damian, and Kochman, Chisenhall, Hanahan, and Marson doing the catching again. Johnny Damon against the Orioles. Not bad. See your authorized Dodge dealer and experience a world of performance, design, and fuel efficiency. Schedule a test drive or go to Dodge.com and check out their powerful lineup.
And let's take a look at our scouting report for Jake Arrieta. Well, be in the moment. That's kind of what he's trying to do. You do your mechanical work on the side sessions and then just go out there, execute your pitches. We'll get ahead because there's a big difference. We'll show you the numbers when he gets ahead or behind the hitters. And then when it's 100, 102, you better be in shape. And from what I've seen, survival of the fittest, even though Derek Lowe did pitch down in Atlanta last year. Jake Arrieta is ready, at least physically, to pitch. Let's hope he has his stuff and his command today.
So the Orioles will try and get out of this three-game losing streak they are in. 2-4 currently on the homestand for the Orioles. The lefties 279, right-handers 256. So guess what? There's one right-hander in the lineup. One. He's batting ninth. That is the catcher, Lou Marson. Everybody else in this lineup will be batting left-handed. And there's only one switch hitter, and that's Cabrera, who is batting second. Sin-Soo Choo with a three-game hit streak will stand in. He had the 1 for 3 in the ball game last night. He's found his spot in the leadoff hole for this team, and the pitch will be taken for a strike. Choo having real success this season. 7 home runs, 25 RBIs, 9 stolen bases, 9 out of 10. So a dangerous man when he gets on. 1 ball, 1 strike count on the pitch away. 26-year-old Jake Arrieta comes in with a 1-0 record lifetime against the Cleveland Indians. That will miss inside. Jake has had 2 career starts against the Indians. While he has a 1-0 ERA, the 1-0 record, the ERA is 8.18. His only start against the Tribe here at his home ballpark, July of 2011, as Drupal Cabrera and Grady Sizemore had home runs against him in that ball game. Of course, Cabrera will be up next against him. 2-2 delivery to Sin-Soo Choo, and he'll take that one the other way and fouls it off, holding the count.
Yeah, it's never really been about velocity. And Maniacta, you tell you, we'd like to have Choo hit because he's a 5-tool guy in the middle of the lineup, but in the last 40 games, he's just been outstanding leading off. So they need offense. I mean, 300 hitter, getting on base, a lot of extra base hits.
There he finds the hole again, and Choo is on. The leadoff single.
Take a look at the Orioles defense here at Camden Yards. Most errors in the American League. And Avery, Jones, Flaherty. It's not your normal outfield back in April. The infield, Andino over at third. Hardy, Roberts, Betamede at first. He played third last night. Matt Wieters won the Gold Glove in 2011 doing the catching.
Indians are 6th in the American League in stolen bases, and Choo is one of their leaders in that department. And that means an eye is going to have to be kept on him over there at first base. Here's Cabrera, one of the game's really great pure hitters. Cabrera batting in the number 2 spot is a switch hitter. The only one they have in the lineup. 302 right-handed, 286 left. Not much of a difference. 7 of his 10 home runs have come from this side of the plate.
Yeah, hit 25 home runs last year, which is a career high. Going into the All-Star break, had 4 more than he has now. Of course, he still has another, 10 days, 9 games, 10 days.
He's hit well off Arrieta, 3 for 5 with a home run lifetime, and Arrieta's got to be concerned about Choo, as Arrieta has not been able to hold runners. Base stealers are 8 for 11 against him in games he started, and Choo's got a pretty good lead. Here's the 1-1 delivery, runner not going, and the pitch will miss away.
Yeah, Gary, I would imagine, and you never really know this, but I would imagine if they're going to run, they may give Cabrera the hole for at least one out. Try to get that ground ball, routine ground ball. If he does run, then all of a sudden your first baseman, Betemit, will play behind the runner. There won't be a runner. So right now, when we saw the Angels do it so much, there's a good
inside corner will catch it. He took a couple of jump steps there. The time's being given to him at first base right now. That one catches it, and Tom Wiedenbauer, who is the coach down there, has got the clock on Arrieta. Shoes going back each time and getting that number from him, so he knows what the time to the plate is. He's got that measured out. He got a pretty good jump on that last pitch, but didn't go. And now Arrieta will make the throw over. Buck Showalter seeing all that going on out there, knowing Chu's getting close to taking off.
Well, the more pitches you throw, the more opportunities. So again, when you run the count, it's not full, but this will be the 5th pitch. So that's 5 pitches he could have had a chance to run on.
2-2 to Cabrera, way outside on the off-speed delivery, not even close with that, and the count will go to 3-2.
And I think another factor, Gary, and I saw it when I would pitch, if you had a guy like Ricky Henderson, he'd already been gone because this is 5 pitches. But otherwise, a lot of times, especially for a young pitcher, your worst inning can be your first inning. You have to come in, you have to situate yourself. So Manny Acta saying, hey, we had a couple of 3-run home runs last night. A lot of runs compared to what they've been doing.
Runner was going. Jones in center will put it away, and back to first base goes Chu. Cabrera is retired. 1 away. Take a look at our SunTrust Inside the Numbers. Exploring your financial options, SunTrust can help you find new ways to move forward. The home starts this season for Jake Arrieta. You see what happened in the first 7 on the left and then the last 2 on the right. He certainly hopes the right-hand column's what's for real.
Well, he's been in and out. First game of the year was terrific. The game up in New York, thought that might have been the greatest right-handed pitching you've ever seen. A couple of starts ago against Philadelphia, not at full strength, gave up 9 runs. It's a mystery, but it usually comes down to fastball command or where the ball ends up. You can, Rick Manning, who's doing the television, former outfielder for Cleveland, said, well, you look at the numbers, the walks aren't that bad. There's a lot of strikeouts. I said, but you can be wild in the strike zone. And that's what happens when Jake doesn't have good games.
There is Kipnis. He's got a base hit. Goes the other way with it. Picked up by Avery. He'll get it back in. So 2 singles here in the first inning. Runners on at first and second with 1 away. Boy, Kipnis is really proving to be as good a player as the Indians thought he was going to be. A 2nd-round pick, but highlighted in his minor league career. And right now he looks like he's going to be a long-time star for this team.
Well, he can steal bases. He won't be doing it here because there's a runner ahead of him, but that's exactly what he's about. He'll take the pitch the other way. Now, the good news for Jake Arrieta, because you didn't allow him to pull it, the double play is still in order. You don't have a runner at third with less than 2 outs. You need to make a couple of pitches. That's what pitching's about.
Now, Brantley is in the cleanup spot for the first time. Brantley, left-handed batter. That's one reason he's there. Their starting catcher out with a back injury and probably would be batting cleanup in this lineup were he available for the ball game, but Carlos Santana is not. Here's the 0-1 pitch and a little chopper on a pitch that was down and away.
Yeah, the good changeup. And that's what Jake had working for him on Sunday against the Nationals. There you go, 3 for 5. Michael Brantley is a single hitter. He doesn't drive the ball very much, and most of those guys like the ball out over the plate, very much what Kipnis. Now, the difference with Jason Kipnis is he can also hit home runs.
Brantley coming into this, the third hardest hitter, most difficult hitter to strike out in the American League. He does not K. Here's the 0-2 delivery to him, and he'll uppercut that one and foul it off the other way. So Brantley in a new spot here, and right away gets an RBI chance. One of the other reasons Maniac to put him in the spot is he's hitting .307 with runners in scoring position. And Maniac said you look at all the numbers. I mean, he's up against a pitcher who generally struggles against left-handers. He gets RBIs. He's good with runners in scoring position. He said, why not? So here he is in the cleanup hole for the ball game. Brantley with the 0-2, and the pitch is going to be away. 1-2 runners at first and second, 1 out in the first inning.
So they've done nothing after Jake has gotten ahead to move him off the outside corner. They haven't gone in. I mean, he did throw it down the middle 0-2. So let's see if they actually try to go in and slow down the bat.
1 ball, 2 strike. Runner goes from second, and a ground ball towards third, foul. And that was a real tough swing because Brantley could see Chu taking off for third. Runner at first base, Kipnis, was not going.
And again, he just kind of times it and gets a running lead. And again, it's close enough where Michael Brantley has to swing at it.
It's one of those where you got the top of your vision, you've got something moving out there.
Well, and it can be distracting.
Yeah. 1 ball, 2 strike count. Chu again back at second, Kipnis at first. Here's the 1-2 delivery. Came in and just missed. 2-2.
Yeah, so there's the attempt at trying to hit the inside corner, which he does, but it's just, I mean, this ball's up 3 inches. It's a strike, but it's just below the knees.
Just missed on that one. Arrieta's already up to 19 pitches here in the first inning, and he's only faced 3 hitters. 2-2 delivery on the way, and that's going to be a base hit into left field. Good read by Chu. He's coming. Avery's got it. Here's the throw. He's got no arm. Wieters will knock it down and hold the runners. Chu was hesitant about going around third base because that ball didn't go very far, but Avery doesn't have a good arm, and Smith, third base coach, just said, get going.
Yeah, pretty good pitch, little change up, and again, as you mentioned, Gary, doesn't strike out much, puts it in play, and then the throw is not very good at all.
So already a tough inning for Arrieta.
I'm not sure he could have thrown him out because Chu didn't hesitate. Again, we talked about the 5 tools. One of them is that he has speed. You mentioned the stolen bases, but you can have a lot of speed and still not have instincts, and Chu has that.
So Brantley comes through in his cleanup spot opportunity. 35th RBI for him, and Arrieta's got a tough inning. Kipnis moves to second base. Brantley at first. Here's Johnny Damon, the veteran Damon, who has been hitting some long balls of late, including right here. Swings and misses on that one. Damon continues to love this yard. 22 home runs in his career here in Baltimore, and overall for Johnny Damon, this has just been a very friendly park, and he of course has played a lot here all the days he had with the Red Sox and then the Yankees.
Yeah, I thought his comments interesting with Luke Scott going to Tampa. He thought that maybe there'd be some interest with the Orioles, which there might have been. It just certainly never manifested itself. He didn't. In fact, he didn't go to spring training. Nope, way inside.
People were waiting. Johnny Damon was one of the last of the name unsigned free agents to be left on the market, and Cleveland Indians decided they were going to need some help, so they picked him up. He went to extended spring training. He never played in a rehab game, if you will, a get ready game in the minors. He just went to extended spring training, and then the Cleveland Indians called him up, so a lot of the Indians feel he's just now getting himself into game shape. 1-2 on Johnny Damon. Runners at first and second. Damon with the RBI opportunity. He's hit in 7 of the last 9, 10 for his last 27. And he was added to the roster on May 1. 1-2 delivery. Slow roll at a third base, chance for 2. Andino 1. Roberts nowhere to go. They'll get the out at second base, 2 down. Kipnis moves over to third base. Damon reaches fielder's choice.
Well, if Earl Weaver is watching, we saw last night Betemid knocked the ball down. Could have been a double play. Again, if you hurry too much, sometimes you don't make a good throw. And you could see off balance, didn't get his feet set, so no chance. Now, it wouldn't have been easy to turn it, but you can't turn it at all if the throw's to the shortstop side. If it's over to Brian Roberts' left, he catches it, bounces off the bag, and then at least you have a chance. Looked like it could be tailor-made, except the throw didn't allow it, and they get the extra at bat.
Andino is just his 5th start at third base this year. Now here's Casey Kochman, 2 down, runners on at first and third base. And Kochman will take it inside for a ball. Kochman had an 0 for 2 in the opener last night, hitting only 186 with runners in scoring position. Arrieta trying to find a way out with 26 pitches thrown already. He's 10 over his average per inning here in the first, and he came in having surrendered only 5 first inning runs this year. It's the second and middle innings that have been the toughest for him, not the first.
No, they're so cognizant of pitch counts. So when you see 27 up there, you become alarmed. But to me, get out of this inning, and it really doesn't mean a whole lot. One, and we talk about it all the time, a lot better than 2 or 3. Last night was all about 3-run home runs. You know, the Chu solo home run. Well, you just kind of say, hey, I don't hit a good pitch, hit it the other way, but the 3-run shots, when you're not scoring runs, it's all over. So
Cleveland Indians are 12th in the American League in homers, 8th in runs. Their on-base percentage is what they rely on, 6th on-base percentage, but 11th in slugging. 2-1 delivery and a little looper to first base, hauled in. Bedemeat's got it, and that's the inning. So only a run in on 3 hits, no errors, and 2 are left on base. The Orioles, Roberts, Avery, Hardy to kick it off. Here on a summer night at the Yard. Let's take a look at the starting lineup, brought to you by Southwest Airlines. For the Orioles, Roberts, Avery, and Hardy. Jones, Bedemeat, Davis, Wieters, Flaherty, and Andino. Wilson Bedemeat has been the hot bat this month for the Orioles. And they will face, as we said, a pitcher who's been hit hard.
And our scouting report for Derek Lowe on the down low, throws more ground balls. 207 grounders, 72 in the air. Orioles hit a lot of home runs. We'll see how that plays out. 3-game losing streak. Why don't you maybe reverse the trend of that? And then on the road, not good. 4-1, under 3 runs at home. On the road, 3-5, almost 6 runs per game. And he's a sinker baller. I mean, a veteran at age 39.
Last year, 9-17 with Atlanta. Signed on with Cleveland. His ERA is down about a half a run a game, but has not resulted in the wins here of late that the Derek Lowe had hoped to get. He is 8-8-2 lifetime against the Orioles. 8 wins, 8 losses, and 2 saves. Keep in mind, Derek Lowe was a premier closer turned starter. Brian Roberts with the 0 for 4 last night, a 1-ball 2-strike count on him. And if the Orioles need anybody to get going, it is at the top of the order in Brian Roberts.
Well, out early and working on just pulling the ball, trying to see where that, especially from the left side, where the front arm is. As he said, if you can't feel like you're short to the ball, then you can't hit the ball away. And you know, again, obviously, you'd like to get him hot. He hasn't been hot. And again, when he is, he's such a dynamic offensive player. It looks like, I mean, he's playing well defensively, but his MO is always, hey, I get on, I ignite the offense, I can steal bases 30 to 50, I can hit doubles, I could hit an occasional home run. But he did miss 13 months, and he's going to have to prove to everybody he can play, and to himself, obviously.
At an age where getting back is not like you were when you were 24 or 25.
I mean, I just hope you look at a lot of guys that have had concussions, so, you know, not that many come back and be the same players, but you just never know. Certainly the effort's there.
Two ball, two strike count on Roberts. Lowe's delivery is chopped towards first base. Kochman, one of the best fielding first basemen, throws it away. That should have been an out. And the error should be charged on Kochman, and Roberts will reach as Kochman had time to get that to Lowe, but just slipped.
Yeah, I mean, everything looks like. I mean, this is a guy that one or two errors a year. Some years never makes an error. Take a look. Damon, Brantley, and Chu. Brantley and Chu, real good. Damon up in years. Hanahan last year, the best fielding percentage of any third baseman. Cabrera can pick it. Kipnis, better hitter than second baseman, but learning. And then Kochman, usually very reliable.
And this defense for the Cleveland Indians has been very good this year. It has been one of the real steadying points. So the Orioles get a break. The error charged on Casey Kochman. And the leadoff man Roberts is on with Avery up. Avery a 1 for 4 in the ball game last night, being recalled, of course, with Nick Johnson going on the disabled list. So Avery gets another chance at the show. Inside and fouled off. And thank goodness for that, because Brian Roberts was halfway between first and second when Marson threw it down there.
Yeah, and Xavier hadn't left home plate, so that was going to be a double play.
Just got enough to foul that off. Marson has thrown out 4 of 23. He is the backup catcher for this ball club. Pretty good arm, though. Carlos Santana continues out with that back problem he's got. 2 strike count. Avery's going to be swinging. Bounced it. Wild pitch. Lowe throws his 4th wild pitch of the season. And Roberts will head down to second base.
Yep, you're taught. They work on it all the time in spring training. Brian certainly knows this as a veteran player. Ball hits the dirt, very hard for you to come up with it. Even if you come up with it and you get that good secondary lead, you're going to be able to get into scoring position. Orioles hope that Avery can get him over to third, if not in.
Avery appearing in his 17th game this year for the Orioles. He'll foul that one away. And the count of ball and 2 strikes. So the Orioles with a chance right away to get the run back that they surrendered in that first inning. He hasn't had a lot of chances with the runners in scoring position this year. The boy, you get these chances, as Avery's had a couple of times, you really try and take advantage of it. AAA, he was hitting .268, had 18 extra base hits, 59 games with the Tides, and he was stealing bases. 1-2 delivery to him. Avery on a heater that's up and in. And a 2 ball, 2 strike count from Lowe.
Yeah, 3 for 13. So as you mentioned, not a lot of opportunities. Whereas here, you'd just love to hit something to the right side and make it a lot easier. Hardy's on deck. Double home run last night. Make it easier for him to hit a fly ball. Doesn't even have to get a base hit.
He's way off, 3-2.
And Gary, even when they've had runners at third 3 times on Wednesday night, couldn't get him in. So again, as you mentioned, 10 games, 23 runs. They're not coming easy.
Well, the Orioles just 3 for their last 52 with runners in scoring position. That's a 58 average. 0-5-8. They've got another opportunity right here. Avery, a 3 ball, 2 strike delivery to him, and Avery will foul that back on a good pitch by Lowe that was coming in on him.
Well, that's been the book on Xavier. Try to crowd him with a fastball, get him a little impatient, trying to speed up the bat, and then hook him. Throw him curveballs that bounce, and he's chased. Went down the minor leagues, tried to stay inside the ball a little bit, make sure that you can make contact, and sometimes, again, with his speed, and that's a big factor for Xavier. Just putting the ball in play, especially here to the right side, huge part of your offense.
Avery rips it foul. Just missed going over the bag out in front of that one, and the count will stay 3 balls and 2 strikes.
And by staying alive, he almost had a double because he got a good pitch to hit.
For Lowe, Derek Lowe on the mound. We're talking about the problems he's had coming off a loss to Houston, which he pitched pretty well. 3 runs, 8 hits over 6 2/3. Last win was on June 1 against the Minnesota Twins. Avery will get the runner moved up. Kipnis at second base, and that is a productive at bat as Robert goes over to third with only 1 out. Tomorrow, Earl Weaver will be honored, part of the Orioles Legends Celebration Series, with the larger-than-life bronze sculpture in the new center field picnic area. All ballpark gates are going to open for fans at 2 o'clock. Ceremonies begin at 2:15. All fans are going to receive a replica Earl Weaver sculpture, so help us honor the Earl of Baltimore. For tickets, 888-848-BIRD, Orioles.com. That is tomorrow. Don't forget, it is a 4 o'clock game tomorrow afternoon, Jim.
4:05, actually.
First pitch, 4:05. Thank you.
Jim and Jim would have been here, me and myself, if you showed up at 7:05.
Prior to about an hour ago, I thought the game was at 7.
I thought it was a Fox game, so I was even worse.
You weren't even going to come.
No.
At least I was coming.
I was
late.
Coming for the statue, for Earl's statue unveiling. Larger than life statue unveiling, may I say.
Yes, you, Jim Palmer, may. 1-1, it is fouled off, and a 1-ball, 2-strike count on Hardy. So the Orioles get a scoring chance here. First home run is the number 3 hitter since back in 07. Picked up in the ball game last night with a 2 for 4 in the game. Roberts is on at third base, 1 away, 1-2 delivery. Hardy a chopper, runners coming. Cabrera! It took a hop and ends up on the grass, and the Orioles have tied the ball game up as Roberts scores.
Well, we talk about defense. These are plays that sometimes not Hardy makes because he's a terrific shortstop. Ball came up a little bit, but very, very catchable, as was the Kochman. So, again, he gets him in. They're playing back, and he just missed it. He can look at the dirt all you want. He just missed that ball, and he looks down at but if it came up, it was already waist high.
So another error, 2 errors in the inning. And the Orioles tie it up at 1-1. Have Hardy on at first base, and here is Adam Jones. Jones, a little roller. Marson up, no, low up. Low throws it in the dirt. And Jones is on. And Marson, the catcher, kind of takes a look at Lowe like, I had that.
Yeah, you don't have a lot of time to call it, but again, just think about it. And this is what a 39-year-old pitcher should be thinking about. He's coming. His momentum is towards first base. I have to catch it. You catch it off your back foot, so you're hoping that you can get it out of there quickly. But I can't imagine that won't be anything other than a base hit.
It is.
But if Marson, if Lou comes out of there, his momentum with him, much easier play for the catcher.
Boy, both of these pitchers have really struggled in the first inning. The Orioles have tied it, runners on at first and second base, and here's their hottest hitter. Wilson Betemeet's got an 8-game hit streak coming into this ball game. He will take it for a strike. Betemeet with runners on at first and second. A single given to Jones, moving Hardy down to second base. Here's the 0-1 pitch to him, and that will catch the outside corner. Betemeet shakes his head no, but yes, It is.
Well, you look at the numbers. The lefty's hitting .331 off of Lowe. Runners in scoring position, .374, huge number. I mean, the league average is around .261. That gives you an idea of how high it is. So that 3 for 52 that has really been a struggle for the Orioles. Maybe it'll get a little bit better tonight.
Boy, Betemeet, if anybody's going to do it, he is the one. Betemeet with this month of June hitting .383 this month. He has 3 home runs. He's gone 23 for 60 in the month of June.
Gary, just look how upright. He just standing straighter at the plate, seeing the ball better, getting good pitches to hit.
And the Orioles will have to be aware whenever they're on base tonight of what we've already seen. Lowe has had 1 wild pitch and dumped 2 others in the dirt that Marson has had to make a play on. He will bounce that ball a lot. Jim was talking about how he is a predominant sinker ball pitcher. 63% of his outs coming on the ground ball. That one lofted in the air to right field. Chu looking, and right off the top of the wall. Here comes Hardy to score. Jones makes the turn. He'll score. A double. No, only 1 in. Jones going back. A double and an RBI, and the Orioles have the 2-1 lead. Adam Jones made the turn, but was brought back to the bag.
Yeah, I'm sure people are sitting here in the stands, maybe even at home, saying, well, why didn't he score? Well, I'll tell you what, he was motoring. But DeMarlo Hale comes down. I mean, this ball comes right off the wall to Chu, hits the cutoff man, but DeMarlo Hale doesn't know he's going to drop it. So there is your second run to make it 2-1. In retrospect, hindsight should be 20/20, but you could see right there it would have been very close. Adam gave it every effort to be in a position to score if they didn't hit the cutoff man, but they had to assume that he was going to. So let's see, 4 grounders, 1 an infield hit, 2 errors. That's what Derek does, and then he gets the ball up and he misses a home run by about a foot.
25 pitches thrown in the inning, and the Orioles have gone on top. Bettemy gets his 31st RBI with a double. The Orioles get a hit with a runner in scoring position, and they've got 2 more in scoring position for Chris Davis. There they are. Jones at third, Bettemy on at second base. Boy, does Davis want to get going. The Orioles designated hitter 1 for his last 35. And the pitch will be taken down low for a ball. The Orioles have already gotten rid of one of the offers. With Brian Roberts scoring a run here, that's the first run that Brian has scored in 12 games. So the Orioles get their leadoff man across the plate here in the first inning. Good off-speed delivery right there, and a 1-ball-1-strike count.
See, those are the things that drive you crazy. And this is, I mean, this is, it sounds like I'm getting on Chris Davis, but when you're 1 for 35, you're obviously not seeing the ball, but you can't be looking for the curveball. It was a foot inside, but again, you're anxious. And I think Buck Showalter, Jim Presley, the hitting instructor, they want people to slow the game down. And there's a good pitch. Now that's a good swing, and that's a hittable pitch. It is very difficult to get the quality at bats that you want if you swing at balls. It's just, unless you're Roberto Clemente, he passed away. I mean, it's just hard to do that. So the key, if you're willing to be patient, look for strikes. And it's hard. It's a lot easier to talk about
when you're struggling.
Yeah, it really is.
Down to third. Backhander made. Hanahan goes to first and will record the out, but the Orioles get a run in. Jones scores. He was going on contact, and the Orioles have a 3-1 lead. An RBI for Davis.
So again, what is Derek Lowe? He's not a strikeout guy. Chris Davis strikes out a lot, and he's able to make contact. Quality at bat. We saw Avery do it early on when he got Roberts III with less than 2 outs. If you strike out, boy, you ought to put a lot of pressure on Wieters. So there's your third run. And
well, they'll go for another. Here's Matt Wieters. Wieters 1 for 4 in the ball game last night. Runner on at second base, Bettemy with 2 down. And Wieters will take it inside for a ball. We told you Lowe comes in overall .313 batting average by opponents against him. He has extremely high numbers in almost every category, as he's given up the second most hits in the league with 113 coming in. And you see the tale of 2 seasons, what he's gone through. 6 wins first, 2.15 ERA through 5.20 since then. 133rd worst ERA. 5 starts in each of those segments.
And he said it's quite simple. You lose your release point. You know, he's a big guy. He has 39, but it's all about sinking the ball. And when it doesn't sink, I said, well, what happens when you don't? He said, I can't quite tell you. Because if he could,
he'd stop
it. He'd change it, yeah.
He's only given up 5 home runs on the season, as you'd expect. Fouled off. Very tough to get that sinker ball pitch of his up in the air. You saw Matt Wieters trying to drive one right there, and you hit on top of it and spin foul balls.
Well, if the Orioles get another run, they will have scored more runs than they have in any game over the last 10 games. 3 or less in the last 10. So a chance with Matt Wieters, better hitter from the right side, but a chance here, and it doesn't have to be a home run, just a single. Hit it somewhere where they're not.
2-2 delivery and a grounder to first base. Casey Kochman has got that one. Play will be made to the bag for the out. But the Orioles come up with 3 runs. They do it on 2 hits and 2 costly errors, leaving 1 on base and take a 3-1 lead to the second inning. By Luna. Call for the Luna Double and get your second room of flooring free. 877-241-LUNA. Shorts, t-shirts, outdoors,
flip-flops, go-aheads, whatever you want to call them.
Sit on the stoop. Arrieta's obviously got to get that pitch count down, but hey, he's got a 3-1 lead.
Well, you give up one, they get you three. There you go. The other factor, and I probably should have put it in my scouting report, but again, it's passed, is that he's since 2011, the beginning of the year, he's 6-0 against the Central. So whether it's Cleveland, Chicago, the Tigers, he's happy to see anybody that's not in the American League West interleague play or the AL East. So that gives you a number of teams that you can prosper against.
Here's Lonnie Chisenhall. Chisenhall is the designated hitter. He's got a 3-game hit streak, 0 for 2 lifetime against Arrieta. And he'll take the breaking ball in for a strike. So the trustworthy defense of the Indians really let him down in that first inning. 3 runs all unearned. The Indians came in with the 6th best overall defense, having committed only 41 errors on the season. They committed 2 in the first inning here tonight. And a 2-strike count on Chisenhall. He's been red hot at the plate. 3 home runs, 9 RBIs in his last 23 games. Came up from AAA Columbus on May 28. 0-2 delivery to him, and that one's going to be fouled off right at the plate. And the count will stay at 2 strikes. The Indians come in 2.5 games behind Chicago in the Central Division. Very much in the fight, held first place first couple of months before being overtaken by Chicago. Maniacs ball club in the midst of it as we close in on the All-Star break. Inside, the Orioles 5 games out. They are 41-34 and what continues to look like it is going to be a very tightly knitted group of teams in the American League East. The Yankees have been the hot team.
Yeah, 19-6 in the month of June, but they've had injuries,
and that ball's going to be put in the air down the line and out of play.
I mean, not only early injuries, but then you have the groin injury to CC Sabathia. He's on the DL. You had Pettit getting hit with the hot shot. He's on the DL.
They say Pettit's not coming back to the end of August.
Well, they said 6 weeks, but then if you start to factor in the fact that he didn't go to spring training, he's going to have to get back into shape. Even though he was pitching very well.
1-2 delivery to Chisenhall will go down to first base. Betemit is there. And one away here in the second inning.
Take a look again. The changeup used it so well against Washington, but the average up, the cutter, well, we don't like that pitch. Curve ball, very good. He's got a power hook. So again, the slider and the cutter, and the changeup. But again, the last game he threw over 70% fastballs, and he only gave up 1 run. That tells you something.
And he does live by the rule of get ahead in the count. 227 after the first strike. If he falls behind 1-0, the average jumps up to 280. Here's Jack Hanahan, outstanding defensive player. Hanahan at third base. Just a 154 batting average here in this ballpark. Lifetime for him. And he will take the pitch, and it misses. 1-1. Hanahan had an 0 for 4 in the opener last night. Orioles on top 3-1, and we're just in the second inning. Already 4 hits and 4 runs and 5 hits in the game. That one is bounced by Arrieta, and a 2-ball 1-strike count. Warm night, so the quicker you can get off the mound, the better you are at being able to stay in the ball game. And as you can see, fans
are fanning.
Here's the 2-1 delivery and a towering pop-up. Roberts back. He's under it, and he's got it. And there are 2 down. Maryland Lottery Strike It Rich contestant of the game, Tracy Haynes from District Heights. Tracy, you've already won $500, and for every strikeout the Orioles get tonight, Maryland Lottery will add 100 more to that total. See how you can turn non-winning Strike It Rich scratch-offs into cash. Enter to win great Orioles prizes at mdlottery.com/strikeitRich. 2 away. Here's Marson. Marson, the only right-handed batter in the lineup, as we said, hitting in the number 9 spot.
Yeah, they up in New York, they featured 9 lefties. And you mentioned Carlos Santana last year, great year, 5-year extension. Struggling this year, their catcher, powerful catcher with 27 home runs.
Came out of the ball game, Santana did, on Wednesday against the Yankees with back tightness. They hoped he was going to be able to play tonight. They certainly don't want to put him on the DL, but decided to take another night off. Big slump he's in, hitting only 151 over the last 27 games for their starting catcher. So maybe the break here will not only help the back, but help the front for the batting average.
The melon.
Yeah.
Got to help the head every once in a while.
2 ball, 1 strike count on Lou Marson. And Arrieta misses with that 3-1.
Well, you made a great point. You make a lot of great points, but you made a very good point about pitch count. Jake doesn't perspire. I mean, it's 100 degrees. So we know he's in shape, but they want him to throw a lot of pitches. And he did it. He did it to Hanahan. Eventually just threw him a fastball belt high, popped it up. That tells me he's not going to get to the heater. Didn't last night, didn't tonight. And there's a guy you can knock the bat out of his hand. No disrespect, but he's a catch and throw guy, and you just walked him. And it's not that you walked him because you do have 2 outs. But again, you bring Chu up. It's an extra hitter. You're up with 2 runs. And if you keep doing this over 3, 4, 5 innings and you don't get a lot of runs, which has been the case this year, that's where you get out of the game.
So he walks that number 9 hitter, and here's Chu, the leadoff batter, singled and scored. Chu coming in, hitting .301 in the leadoff spot, 33 runs and 6 home runs since being moved in the occasions this year that he's hit in the leadoff spot. His average and all of his numbers much better here than in any other spot in the lineup. 0-1 delivery to him, and he'll crank that one foul.
Now you can see again, well, this is what happened, and this is all since the last 40 games or so. And Matty Active's manager, as you look at extra bases and whatever, he got his best hitter to the top of the lineup. And the reason he did it's not that Michael Brantley had a 22-game hitting streak, but on base percentage. So you get him up, he can make a difference in a game. If he gets on, he can steal bases, he hits for a high average, and he can drive the ball.
Runner at first base, throw over by Arrieta. For Chu, among the American League leaders, he's tied for second in doubles, 18th and tied for 18th in walks. He's 14th in runs. That on base percentage number is 17th in the American League, and against right-handed hitters, .315. That's the 9th best average in the league. Here's the 0-2 delivery to him, and he fouled it back, so Arrieta keeps it at 0-2. May not be the prototypical leadoff batter as we think of them in baseball, but when you are the manager and these are the choices you're looking at, Chu and everybody else, it's a pretty simple decision.
Oh yeah, that's why he's hitting. I mean, Manny Active can manage. I mean, I don't think anybody thought they were going to win 80 games last year, and they did. Got off to a great start.
0-2 delivery again, breaking ball again, good pitch. Arrieta gets his first strikeout, no runs, no hits, no errors, a walk, and a base runner left on. The Orioles come up in the second, leading it by 2. Of not committing errors over 6 games. Roberts to Kochman, Kochman to nobody. There's one error. Starts the inning out. And another ground ball just misplayed by Cabrera at shortstop. Then this one, maybe you could have gotten an out. It goes as a base hit. Jones gets on with a single. So those fielding gloves that have worked so well for them over the last 6 and really over the season, not in the first inning.
And when you're not scoring runs, as we mentioned, 23 runs, 10 games, you'll take them any way you get them. Now you can actually maybe have some quality at bats, and I want to call them legitimate runs, but it's part of the game. Orioles certainly have given the other teams enough unearned runs over the course of the season so far.
That'll be taken down low. And Ryan Flaherty getting the start in right field, his 8th start in right field this year. See the numbers overall. He had a 1 for 3 in the opener. Lowe's pitch is way outside. Just flew open on that one, and a 2-ball 1-strike count.
Now you can see him. I mean, Derek's about 6'6". He's going to tuck that front shoulder to try to stay closed.
2-1 grounded to first base. Kochman backing up. Makes the nice pitch underhanded to Lowe to get the out. And away. Start time for the Saturday, July 14 game against the Tigers moved from 7 to 4 to accommodate Fox. The July 14th game also marks the unveiling of the Jim Palmer sculpture, part of the Orioles Legends series. The ceremonies will begin at 2:15 that day. All gates opening at 2. For tickets, 888-848-BIRD or Orioles.com. That's for the game on Saturday, July 14. For Jim, tomorrow it's Earl's Day. Same situation. Gates open at 2. Ceremonies begin at 2:15 tomorrow for Earl Weaver. Robert Andino. Andino 1 for 1. The only time he has faced Lowe. Fouls that one off, and a 1-ball 1-strike count.
I still remember when Edward Bennett Williams, the famed lawyer who bought the Orioles, he was at Earl's day. Retire his number. Earl. Baltimore loves you. Earl. Oriole fans love you. Earl. We all love you.
That one grounded to short. Cabrera up with it, makes the play, and Andino is retired. We love you. Yes, we do. Time for our AT&T Mobility Trivia Fact. The O's defeated the Indians 2-0. First game ever played at Camden Yards back in April of 1992. When Jim and Earl were both young.
Actually, who was really young that day? Rick Sutcliffe, who pitched the shutout.
That's right.
Yeah. He was dealing.
And the pitch will be taken for a strike. Leadoff batter Brian Roberts reached on an error and scored.
Well, when I asked somebody why Earl, Edward Bennett Williams talked in threes, he said, well, that's what lawyers do. You're the only lawyer I know that doesn't talk in threes.
You haven't seen me in the courtroom.
Well, that's true. Well, this was out on the field.
Here's the 1-1 delivery, and that ball's going to be a base hit. So Brian Roberts on with a single. Well, he's been on base both times up in the ball game.
Well, boy, you like to see this. I mean, not only for Brian, but he smokes this ball. Inside middle, watch the front arm. Straight to the ball. So again, able to stay on top of it. He said, because if you chicken wing it, you hit the little lazy fly ball. So again, part of it, we saw it with Matt Wieters looking to extend through the ball. He got a pitch to hit last night. So it's nice to work on something, then a good pitch to hit.
Hanahan moves in at third base, even though there are 2 down, with the ability of Avery to lay down a bunt for a single. Roberts on at first. Avery grounded out his first time up. Right on the cut of the grass at third. We've not seen Brian Roberts try to do a lot of running. The Orioles, of course, as a team, haven't done that either. Cabrera's going to have to make the play at first base. He will get it over there just in time. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left on base. 2 complete. Game 2 of the 4-game set. The Orioles have a 3-1 lead. Camden Yards. It's summer. That's when baseball gets played. Get out here and enjoy it. 102 to start the ball game tonight. 2 more games left after this one for the weekend with the Indians for the homestand.
And bring
a fan.
Well, a box, whatever. Don't get boxed. Just bring a box. That's what we want.
That's good.
There you go. That's kind of like in when we were in Wrigley Field. What about the interleague play? The late Ron Santo was getting into the Hall of Fame. I looked over, and he's got ice bags. He's got sanitary socks with ice around his neck. I'm going, boy. Well, that's part of the fan experience at Wrigley.
A perfect air conditioning unit.
Yeah.
Sanitary and ice cubes. Off-speed breaking ball by Arrieta as we go to the 3rd inning. Cabrera flied out to center field. His first time up. And we'll pop that one back over the screen. Cabrera now with the 3 for 6 and a home run off Jake Arrieta in his career.
Well, they hit the hanging slider off Luis Ayala. That kind of put the game out of reach last night. I said, at what age in Venezuela did you learn to hit that pitch? He just laughed at me. He said it was pretty hittable.
A lot of pitches for him are
last year
hittable.
You go from a career high of 8 to 25 and again, as we mentioned, 10 this year. And the average getting close to 300 last year. The 25. Bruce Fields is hitting instructor. And
here in Baltimore, a .302 batting average for Cabrera in this ballpark. Arrieta trying to get him to go after those off-speed deliveries onto the strike zone. He refuses.
Well, part of this game of adjustment, which is baseball, is to pay attention, and that's the curveball that Jake used last inning. And then Cabrera, he'll hit the ball to left with the best of them. And
rips it. Question of how far. Way back. And goodbye. Home run. Utah Street. Here we come. A one-hopper to the warehouse. And Cabrera makes it a 1-run ball game. It is 3-2.
Well, you don't hit 25 home runs. You're not a good all-star shortstop if you're not smart. So he just looks fastball. He gets a fastball, and then he crunches it. You know, part of a lot of guys that never hit home runs that start looking for pitches. So he looks for the fastball. What's the bat head? You know, a lot of times we have these two-tone bat heads. You can they're holding on to maybe red. You can see the bat head. This is an all-black bat, and he just gets barrel the bat to the ball, and it sails out of here.
Our Nissan pitch track closed a great deal now in your new Nissan. Hurry, the door to your opportunity closes July 2nd. I think Jake Arrieta did something I've never seen done before by a pitcher. Here's Kipnis. The ball was thrown all the way back to the infield. He picked it up and threw it out. Would you have picked that ball up on the mound if someone just hit a home run off you and it came back?
Well, how did it get back that quick? It went all the way to the warehouse.
Somebody threw it out, and it came all the way back.
Well, there's not that many balls hit onto Utah Street. I mean, that was it was not a routine home run.
No, it wasn't.
And this guy can hit home runs. He's got 11. Single to left his first time up.
And the pitch will be taken down low. So Kipnis with a single. His first time to the plate. Indians have their 4th hit of the ball game, and for Arrieta, the 13th home run surrendered. But only the 3rd hit. Only 2 have been hit by right-handers and 11 hit by left-handers. That's why all these lefties are in this lineup. Here's the 3-1 delivery, and Kipnis will shoot it to center. Jones coming. It stays up, and he's got it. That ball was tagged too, but right at him. 2110 Utah Street presented by Southwest Airlines. Return to Camden Yards on Sunday. The Birds take on the Indians 135. For one low price, fans can receive a reserved Utah Street bleacher seat plus an exclusive 2110 Utah Street t-shirt. Space is limited, so follow Nick Markakis, Adam Jones. Join their fans. For tickets, call 888-848-BIRD or Orioles.com.
Well, the message from the Indian hitters to Jake is you cannot be hanging around in hitters' counts in the middle of the plate with that fastball. So what does he do? He drops the hook, because both those pitches, the home run and then the line drive, were right down the middle.
Brantley had a single and an RBI his first time up. The 0-1 delivery to him. Brantley down to first base and foul.
Ooh, nice little grab by the ball person down the right field line. A little backhand.
Very much hit hard.
Very much like Casey Kochman, except he didn't get up and have to throw it. That's where the error.
Just handed it to a fan.
Yeah, a lot easier.
Here's the 0-2 delivery on the way, and a good changeup. Wieters, fair ball. Got him. Matt had to wait for that one to come down. You don't feel many grounders above your head.
Not when you're 6'5", no. Well, the old swinging, it was kind of a Baltimore curveball chop semi or whatever, but when you're as adept defensively as he is, that's a pretty easy play.
Johnny Damon. Damon hit into a fielder's choice his first time up. This is Damon's 45th game with the Indians. So Damon starting to pick up some at-bats. He's closing in on 150 at-bats on the year. And a cut over the top of that one, and strike two.
Well, he's a very smart hitter, and we saw that on the 3-run home run off of Wei and Chen last night. He will look in an area and early in the count, and he will try to get the bat head to the ball, and that's exactly what he did.
And out in front of that a little bit, we'll chop that one foul.
So again, he's always loved to hit here. You talked about the numbers. Not good numbers against Jake Arrieta. But there have been a lot of good hitters that have had great careers. It's a little harder to do with two strikes. You just look in an area, and that's where you get the bat. Had K-Line hit home runs off me. Larry Heisel, you think they're good pitches till they just go out and get them.
Missed outside with it. Damon's a .313 career hitter here at Camden Yards with the 22 home runs. 65 pitches have now been thrown by Arrieta, so not much question unless he has some miraculous innings, Orioles are going to have some heavy use of the bullpen in the ball game. Here's the 1-2 delivery. Damon at a reach. Hardy. Get it. 1 run, 1 hit, no errors, nobody left on base. Cabrera led the inning off with his 11th homer. It is now a 1-run game. Antwerpen Auto. When Jack says yes, you pay less at Antwerpen Hyundai, Nissan, Toyota at Howard County Auto Park. Visit jacksays.yes.com today. And by Verizon Fios. Introducing Verizon Fios Quantum Speed. Internet twice as fast as anything America's ever seen. J.J. Hardy leading it off, takes the first pitch for a ball. Hardy reached on an error and scored in the first inning. Hardy, Jones, and Betemeet against Lowe. Towery pop-up third base. Hanahan. And a couple of pitches and the first out here in the third inning.
Yeah, it's unusual that Lowe would be able to get Hardy up in the strike zone. Again, as we told you, predominantly ground ball. But maybe after the first inning, he said, maybe I ought to throw some pop-ups. I'm not catching my grounders. A couple of errors back in the first that led to 3 runs.
That'll bring up Adam Jones. Jones had a single and scored. Lowe will have to wait. Adam out working today on trying to take the pitch a little deeper over the plate before he makes contact, thinking he was getting out in front too much and not getting the drive on the ball that he wants. So he worked on bringing that pitch about 6 inches further in, along with Jim Presley, who was working with him at the cage today.
Let it travel.
Let it travel. 7th in home runs, 9th in runs for Adam Jones in the American League leaderboard race, and a 1-ball 1-strike count.
Isn't that kind of it's almost like an oxymoron, because you have about 4/10 to decide what the pitch is and get the bat head to it.
Down to third base, the skipper goes to Hanahan.
So
and there are 2 down. This day in baseball history brought to you by Ocean City, Maryland. Make memories of your own this summer. Book your vacation at OCOcean.com. 1913, one of my favorite dates on this June 29. Only one baseball used in a Reds win 9-6 over the Cubs. Can you imagine that? They had 3 baseballs. 2 of them were destroyed before the game started, so they ended up using only 1 for the entire game. How about that?
How do you know all this stuff?
I read it.
Oh, okay.
Must be true.
1? You don't think that ball was moving and diving and then what? They didn't outlaw the spit-fingered fastball till 1920, and then they grandfathered guys like Burley Grimes in and things like that. So
exactly.
Would Don Sutton have loved to pitch in that era?
Yes, he would have. You're not saying
he loved to pitch in the area that he pitched in, because he won over 300 games and he's in the Hall of Fame. So. But again, that was a dead ball era, and no wonder the ball was dead. He was tired.
It's used for 9 innings, and you have like 15 hits and 9 runs, 12 runs scored. Well, that's our memory of Flanny, for our beloved Mike Flanagan. Remember the book?
Yep. Oh, the Bible.
He had the great history Bible, and I'm very fortunate to have that with me, thanks to his family. And I keep that as a keepsake and use it. Flanny had all kinds of notes in there, and that was one of his favorite days, too. And a swing and a miss on a pitch away, and a 2-ball 2-strike count to Bellamy to add an RBI double. Bellamy now has a 9-game hit streak, shy of the 13-game hit streak, which is his career high, but he's hot. 2-2 delivery, and he takes the count full, 3-2.
And if there's anybody that wants to that was about the 56th or 7th pitch for Derek Lowe, that wants to get an easy inning and be able to hang around long enough after they make the errors early on. It's Derek Lowe, and hope that he can get the ball to start responding going down.
Bellamy will 9-iron that one into the seats.
If that wasn't a sinker, that was a breaking ball. He's got 4 pitches, but and he's got a cutter. I think the batting average on a cutter, we had some numbers early that we saw was like 400. You might have to.
Might not want to throw.
Yeah, no, not unless you're a nice guy and you got a big lead, but which he doesn't. And he's not a nice guy. He is a good guy, but
3-2 is lifted deep and foul. You don't get many balls up in the air against Lowe, foul or otherwise, with that sinker he's got, and you hope to catch a pitch like that and be able to drive it and keep it fair. The manager and Brian Roberts watching. Bellamy on the sinker is the first strikeout victim, and the Orioles go down 1-2-3. We've completed 3 on our summer night game, and the Orioles maintain a 1-run lead. Later in tonight's game, brought to you by Miller Lite. Gary Thorne, Jim Palmer, we've completed 3 here at Camden Yards. The Orioles behind Jake Arrieta, a 3-2 lead. Run in the first inning. Brantley, Indians took a 1-0 lead. Orioles came back 3 runs unearned, all of them in the first inning on 2 errors. A couple of nice hits though. Bettamy picking up an RBI, Davis an RBI. And then the home run by Cabrera in the third has made it a 3-2 ball game.
So
here's Casey Konchman.
Yeah, if you're going to give up the home runs, and the Indians hit 3 of them last night. 1 solo in the bad ones as far as the Orioles, the 2 3-run home runs.
That one skips off the mound, and that's a base hit. Right by Arrieta, caught the mound, and Konchman is on with a leadoff single here in the 4th inning. What would you like to do if you had the chance to run the Orioles? Well, head over to Facebook.com/Masson Orioles and enter to win a dinner with Buck Showalter. Your chance to go one-on-one with the O's manager. Plus, we'll let you bring a guest, and Masson will take care of the tab. Enter now through July 1st.
So once again, the belt-high fastball hurts Jake Arrieta. It's all right to throw it, but again, you just can't keep leaving it in the middle of the plate.
Chisenhall will take it down low for the Orioles. 3-3-0, 2 left on. The Indians 2-5-2, and they have left 3 on base.
And for Lonnie, he chased about 3 balls out of the zone the first time up. And this time he'd like to hit a ball into right field, and Konchman doesn't run.
He got that one towards right center field. Flaherty's going over, runner halfway, and he misjudged it. Nobody took it. Oh my, I mean not even close. As Flaherty and Adam Jones were both 4 or 5 feet from the baseball on an easily catchable fly ball.
Yeah, well, it's pretty simple. Ryan Flaherty doesn't play right field. When he does, he's going to give away to Jonesy, but he just run over and catch it. Adam doesn't even think he's going to catch it. He does get it on a couple of hops, but that's a routine out that they play into a single. The good news is the Konchman only gets to second base. But again, it's just somebody that's not a normal outfielder playing the outfield. And again, injuries. Markakis out with a hamate bone. Won a Gold Glove. It's a can of corn if he's out there.
You cannot hide players, as is said throughout baseball history. Those things will happen when you've got players playing out of position. Here's Jack Hanahan. Now Arrieta's got to overcome it. Runners at first and second. Nobody out. That goes, of course, as well. I say, of course, it's the official scorer's call. If you wanted to call an error, he could.
Well, it should be an error because it's a very catchable ball. Now, how they'll score it,
we're waiting.
I mean, you can't assume a double play. A lot of times you'll turn one, make a bad throw. They don't give you an error because you can't assume a double play. But you could assume that a routine fly ball should have been caught.
Here, 0-1. It's another misnomer in baseball. The ball does not have to be touched by a player to be an error. If a ball should have been caught in a major league ball game, it can go as an error whether you touch it or not.
Gary, the day that I became the 4th 20-game winner in '71, I hit a ball in left center field in Cleveland. Veda Pinsa never touched it, and they gave him an error.
Yeah.
Now, I'd also hit a line drive off of Greg Neville's foot that hit him in the chin. They gave him an error on that one. So I'm just saying there were 2 balls, and it's the discretion. So
that's a big strikeout right there.
Well, it is, and if you have the ability level that Jake has, and you can use your pitches when he's pitching well, so he just throws him a great changeup. Establish the fastball, then you pull the string. This is what he did against the Senators. Look at the late life on that changeup. And when he gets, look at where his head position is. Over, you can see the back of the 34. When he leaves his fastball up, you don't see the bridge of his back. You see it straight up. And of course, when he finishes pitches, his stuff is overwhelming.
Well, here's Lou Marson, the number 9 hitter, drew a walk his first time up. Konchman at second. Chisenhall's on at first, 1 away. Yes, it was a base hit credited to Chisenhall, so 6 hits on the board for the Indians. And now Marson gets an opportunity to tie this ball game up if he can pick up a base hit here. Orioles shade him in the outfield towards right, giving the big gap in left center field. Arrieta's delivery to him, and a check swing he could not hold up on, and a 2-strike count in a hurry.
Yeah, about 72 at bats for Lou Marson, so the bat well into the hitting zone. And again, when you look, 4 to left, 8 to center, 5 to right. So he is a guy you're going to shade a little bit.
Here's the 0-2 delivery to him, and that'll miss outside. Marson has not had a lot of chances with those runners in scoring position. You saw the numbers, 2 for 19, coming out to that 105 batting average. The Indians overall as a team are 11th in the American League, hitting 245 with runners in scoring position. 1 ball, 2 strike delivery. And with runners on first and second, they'll stay there as the count goes to 2-2. Kochman, the leadoff single at second. Chisenhall, the single at second. And now the ground ball, look for it. Get this inning over with on a double play. Arrieta's up to 76 pitches thrown so far in the ball game. Here's the 2-2 delivery.
Yeah, that slider just stayed up enough where he could foul it off.
Yeah, Manny Acta looking on. His ball club trying to stay above 500, a game above it right now, and keeping that chase with the White Sox in the Central. They, like the Orioles, have struggled over the last month trying to find those big hits in situations like this. Here's the 2-2 delivery, and they found one. Base hit into center field. Kochman's going to stay. Jones will get it in. So the bases are loaded. 3 singles in the inning. Marson delivers. Sacks full, 1 down. Leadoff batter Chu coming up.
So another belt high fastball, and Marson doesn't miss it.
So Kochman a single at third. Chisenhall single at second. Marson at first base. Here's the leadoff batter Chu, a single. His first time up. And a strikeout victim. His second time to the plate. So another big moment in this ball game. The Indians have had runners on in every inning. 1 down. And Chu in the big lift misses for a strike.
You go back and again against Washington, Jake pitches well. The Met game, R.A. Dickey pitched a 1-hitter, but it all came down to a shutout going into the 6th. Dickey got a hit, a double, a walk, and then 1 pitch for a grand slam. So and this could be a similar situation here a little bit earlier in the game, only in the 4th.
Chu takes it inside. Chu's had a 1 for 6 with the bases loaded this year. The Indians have had only 1 grand slam, and that was hit by Kipnis. 3 on for Chu in a 1-run ball game with the Orioles up by 1, but that lead definitely in danger right here. Here's the 1-1 delivery, and Chu in check swing will take the pitch away.
Well, they came in after leaving New York. They started again in Houston. Look at that right there when you're ahead and behind. Well, he's behind, so we'll see how this turns out. They'd only scored 13 runs in 6 games. So they hit the home runs last night, and once again trying to get back into this game right here. Good hitters count for Sin Chu.
2-1 delivery to him. Arrieta misses, and he's got no place to put him. In a 3-ball, 1-strike count, 82 pitches have been thrown by Arrieta, and he's only in the 4th inning with 1 away. 3 in the 3rd innings and 82 pitches. 3-ball, 1-strike count, 1 down. Outfield deep, straight away on Chu. He'll take it. Bases loaded, walk, and the ball game is tied.
Really close pitch. So let's take a look right here. He needs an out. The Orioles gave the Indians an extra out by not catching the fly ball. Swings at a changeup. He's ahead. Not close. Not close. 2-1. Not close on the changeup. And then right here, could have easily. That's a pitch. If the count's not 3-1, he's swinging it. But again, because of the count, he takes it, and they tie the game up.
3-3. And our pitch tracks brought to you by Kia Motors. To learn more, visit kia.com. Chu getting RBI number 26 on that walk with the bases loaded, his 33rd walk of the year. Troy Patton, the left-hander, throwing in the bullpen as the bases remain loaded. And you've got the ever dangerous Asdrubal Cabrera coming to the plate, who's already delivered his 11th home run in this ball game. Flaherty and Jones talking out there on a ball that Chisenhall hit that fell in, that should have been the second out of the inning on the second, or first out of the inning on the second batter faced.
So the bases should be loaded, and it still should be 3-2. But again, when your team is struggling, a lot of times you can't do it. Your job is to try to pick them up. But then again, it helps to have some defense so they pick you up.
One down, sacks full is Cabrera. And he will take the pitch for a strike. Cabrera's not had a hit with the sacks full this year, going 0 for 5 to this point, but certainly not a hitter you want to see up there when there are runners in scoring position. Bases loaded, one out. Arrieta with the 0-1 delivery. Cabrera to second base. There's one, throw to first, and didn't get it. As Betamede had to do a 360, one to find the ball and two to find the bag, and could not get back in time to get chewed.
Well, a chance to get out of the inning. And again, right there, Brian Robert catches it easy. And it's not a good throw because it's behind him. If it's anywhere to the bag, you're out of the inning. But again, Brian, he throws it. He has to reach back. And by that time, good base running right there. Of course, Cabrera won more than just a line out.
Here's Kipnis with two down. He has the only Indians grand slam this year. He has singled in this ball game, is 1 for 2. The Indians have put only one run across in the inning on the bases loaded walk. 3 singles and a walk has been their offense, tying the ball game up at 3-3.
Well, Gary, this is very much like the first inning when the Orioles score 3 when they make 2 errors. Now the Orioles don't have the errors, but they've had 2 plays that should have been made.
Here's the 0-1 delivery. Oh, almost hit him. Like Showalter wondering where this start is going.
Oh, there you go, down the middle. Better low ball hitter than high ball hitter, or at least driving the ball.
Talking about Kipnis, they've waited a long time to get him on the field with the big club last year, 36 games. He has been one of their bright prospects. 272 last year in the 136 at bats that he had, 7 home runs, 19 RBIs. Minor league 300 hitter in some 2.5 seasons in the minors for Kipnis. Here's the 2-1 delivery, and Kipnis has got a base hit right through the legs of the second baseman Rob Drake. That is going to score a couple of runs, and it is a 5-3 Indians lead as Kipnis comes through again.
Well, you give him the extra outs, and then you don't. It's all about execute your pitches. You get behind him. We showed you if he gets ahead, it's under 200. Take a look right here where it is. Over 400, 2-1. Right down the middle. He goes out, doesn't try to do too much. Very much like Marson. Even Cabrera hit it hard, but right at Roberts. Should have turned the double play. Should have been on the bench, but again, he's not.
That'll be it for Arrieta, and the woes for the Orioles starters continue. It's a 5-3 Cleveland lead. An 11.66 ERA that is not going to be helped by this.
Well, no, and he did not pitch well. A lot of balls in the middle of the plate, but horrid defense. I mean, really gave him some extra outs. And then when he can't make good pitches, he was talking about executing them. It's really tough to have the kind of start you want. Now, it doesn't mean you can't be better. I'm not intimating that, because he could be, and he'll be the first to tell you. But again, they didn't help him out. But a guy that hasn't needed a lot of help is Troy Patton, who's going to come in. He's just been outstanding. Gave up a couple of runs in Boston, and in between that, it's about 16 scoreless innings. So his job right here, keep it at 5-3. It's a matchup situation. Even though Michael Brantley hits lefties very well, you can see right there he gets lefties out. He really gets righties out. Troy Patton was a starter in the minor leagues before he came over from Houston.
First and third, 2 down. Brantley will take it outside for a ball. Brantley is the 8th Cleveland Indian to hit here in the 4th inning. He's got an RBI single, 1 for 2. Kipnis on at first base with a 2 RBI base hit that moved Chu over to third base. 2 down, 1-0 delivery. Brantley indeed has hit the left-handers well. 287 against lefties, 275 against righties.
Yeah, it really doesn't matter for him, because he's not a home run guy. He's a contact guy. 22-game hit streak. That tells me that you can run a little bit, because he does have good speed, but he also hangs in against the left-hander, and that's what you have to do against Troy Patton.
Patton will miss away, and a 2-ball 1-strike count. So a seesaw battle. The Indians had a 1-0 lead in the first. The Orioles tied at bottom half, then went ahead 3-1 after first inning. Indians made it 3-2, and now the Indians lead it 5-3. Here's the 2-1 delivery, and that pitch is going to miss. And Patton falls behind 3-1 on Brantley with Johnny Damon waiting on deck. Runners off first and third. Here's the 3-1, and that's another walk. So Patton puts the first batter on that he faces, and that will load the bases again, and that will bring Johnny Damon up.
Now, you talked about Cleveland and their on base percentage. They walked 7 times last night, and then they hit 3 home runs.
That's the name of their game.
And they also got 9 hits, so that's 16 base runners and a couple of 2-run home runs. You're lucky they only had 7 runs.
Bases loaded for Johnny Damon. He's hit into a fielder's choice, grounded out, 2 away. Damon will take the pitch, and it is there for a strike.
And he's looking inside middle. And again, we talked about veteran hitters. He certainly is with that. Closing in on 2,800 hits. He's going to look in the zone. If you stay out of that zone, you'll probably get him out. Otherwise, he's a very, very dangerous hitter.
The 0-1 delivery to him.
Yeah,
that is a strike as well, and it goes to 0-2.
Yeah, that's like the perfect. So you can see again, and you can't really tell. The hot zone is inside middle, and that's what he hit for the home run last night.
Here's the 0-2 delivery by Patton. And he'll take the pitch down. 1 ball, 2 strike count.
And then the problem, and you can see he's really not hitting well against anybody, is the fact that he will poke balls in the left field when he gets to 2 strikes if you do get it away.
So the outfield moves in left and center. And there's one to second base. Brian Roberts will get the big hop. And Johnny Damon is retired. But big inning for the Indians as they bat around. They come up with the 3 runs. Doing it on 4 hits. They will leave the bases loaded. 5-3 Indians. brought to you by AT&T 4G LTE. With speeds up to 10 times faster than 3G, AT&T. Rethink possible. Camden Yards on a summer night, 102 when we started, heat index of 112. Good crowd on hand, though, for this second game of the 4-game set. Now the Orioles have got to battle back against Lowe.
Firework night.
Davis will foul that one over into the seats.
We've got a lot of defensive fireworks.
And a lot of non-defensive fireworks.
Yeah, well, exactly.
Lowe has really cut it down. He had a long first inning. And the Orioles picked up 3 unearned runs on 2 errors committed by the Indians. So,
well, you go back and look at the big out for him, and it's an out because they made the 2 errors was getting Wieters to hit the ball to Hanahan, who last, as you mentioned, best fielding percentage of any third baseman in the league last year. So he got him out of the inning, and they held it to 3 runs.
2-1 delivery to Davis, and he'll foul that one away. Chris picked up an RBI in the first inning along with Bettamy, who had an RBI. 2-ball, 2-strike count. The Orioles last 10 games hitting just 184 coming into this ball game, trying to get it undone, but so far that's been tough. They picked up 2 singles and a double, and no earned runs yet off Lowe. Here's the 3-2, and Davis is on a leadoff walk. First walk surrendered by Lowe. On Friday, July 13, the first 15,000 fans 15 and over will get the Matt Wieters orange Orioles replica jersey. Don't miss a great tradition and a chance to add to your Birdland wardrobe. Orioles will be returning home after the All-Star game. That's on Friday, July 13. 888-848-BIRD or Orioles.com for tickets.
Not a T-shirt, but a jersey.
A jersey. Here is Matt Wieters, who grounded out his first time up. Matt will take pitch away for a ball as the Orioles have plenty of time for the comeback here if they can get the bats going. Wieters has had a good June, hitting .302 with a couple of home runs. There aren't many Orioles who can call June a good month. And a cut and a miss on Lowe's delivery, and it goes to 1-1.
Yeah, every once in a while he has one strikeout tonight. That was Bettamy with the changeup. But again, if you execute your changeup like that, even Matt Wieters, who hits changeups, one of the higher numbers in his repertoire is what he hits for base hits.
That's going to go to short. Cabrera, Kipnis, and the double play.
Taylor-made another changeup, back-to-back changeups, but again, the depth, the movement on your changeup, that's what it'll do. It looked like Matt timed it pretty well, but the movement got it out on the end of the bat. Taylor-made double play.
Lowe is first in inducing the ground ball and fourth in picking up double plays, fourth in the majors in double plays induced. 17 of them so far when he's been on the mound this year. Here's Ryan Flaherty with 2 down, nobody on. Flaherty takes it away. Lowe has never won a ball game here at Camden Yards. He's had 7 previous starts here and is 0-2 in the starts. Also 10 relief appearances here. See the ground ball percentages. Lowe right at the top. Cahill, Diamond, Westbrook, Mendoza, Alvarez, Andy Pettit. That's the rotation you want for
Camden Yards
or Mile High Stadium. Either one.
Well, that's a good point, but the word is even if you have a 2-seam fastball, which will induce the ground ball, it doesn't move in Colorado.
So the strikeout, the second recorded. Orioles down with only 3 up, and they trail 5-3.
Lead for the Orioles. Brian Roberts, who reached on an error, and there's another error by Carrera. Betamete, a 9-game hitting streak, the double, 3-1, and then all of a sudden Utah Street, here I come, Cabrera, 3-2, and then the defense and some hittable pitches. You can see right there, 2-run single up the middle by Jason Gipnis, and all of a sudden Arrieta is out of the game. They come up with 4 runs when we talk about the Indians. And so there you go. A couple of errors for the Indians. The Orioles don't have any errors, but there were 2 balls that could have easily been scored. That double play ball they didn't turn, and then the routine fly ball that fell for a base hit.
Troy Patton on in relief of Arrieta. As we go to the 5th inning, the Indians batted around in the 4th. So right back where they started, Casey Kochman. Kochman will take the pitch for a strike. Kochman had a single to start the 4th inning and would score. He's also lined out, so he's picked up 1 hit in 4 at bats so far in this 4-game set the Orioles have against Cleveland. 0-1 delivery, the on-speed breaking ball, and it is in there for a strike. So Patton's job, hold it right where it is. The Orioles down by only 2 against an Indians team that has had its own trouble scoring, but right now for Nick Showalter's trying to find some pieces that fit together.
Well, they've had trouble scoring against lefties, so you hope that Patton will be able to make his pitches, which he's usually able to do.
Hardy, second hop, gets the out, and 1 away. Mid-Atlantic Sports Report will return on Monday, 5 to 7. Tom Davis, Phil Wood, Dave Johnson, Mel Antonin, all the latest O's news and headlines. The Orioles will begin their final road trip before the All-Star break. Plus, an analysis of the Orioles All-Star selections. That's Monday at 5 on MASN. All-Star teams to be announced, of course, this Sunday. The voting is over. The American League All-Star team will have 9 selected starters by the fans. The National League will have 8. Adam Jones, one of the Orioles, has got certainly a shot. Hardy a chance. Wieters a chance.
Jim Johnson a chance.
Yeah, absolutely. Foul back. The rest of the squads, reserves and remaining pitches, 25 for the National League, 24 for the American, will be determined by player ballots. The 2 managers, Washington and La Russa, and they'll be in touch with all the other managers and Major League Baseball's front office. It's a coordinated effort depending on what they feel the need's going to be for positions, and they talk to MLB's front office, and La Russa gets a say and Washington gets a say.
Yeah, when Bobby Brown was the president of the league, I used to always tell him, I know the fans are going to vote in the first 9, but again, good pitching stops good hitting. It's very important now because of the World Series home field advantage. I said I would think, and he was the president of the American League, that you would want to have players that are going to help you win close ball games defensively. So if I wanted, perfect example, if your starting catcher is not Matt Wieters, anybody better to control the running game and hit, switch hitter? So that's the way I would formulate the game. You know, can you steal a base? Who's going to steal a base for me in a 1-run game? Make a defensive play.
Ooh.
Well, did he swing? He
started around on that, and then the ball hit him, and he's going down. Chisenhall hit by a pitch.
So the rule, and they got away with the Angels the other day. So let's take a look right here. And does he swing at the bat? How far does it go? Now, hits him right in the wrist.
That'll bring Acta and the manager out.
And he didn't swing. So you're just wondering, I mean, dead in that right wrist. And you certainly hope that there's no broken bone. But a lot of nerves. That was my throwing arm. I know about that, but never been hit in the arm with a pitch.
First batter hit by Patton this year. Right there.
Well, that's not going to feel better. I'm sure what they're looking for to see. Yeah, right. Yeah.
Does it hurt here?
A little pressure on that where you just got plunked. The other night they got Mark Reynolds right in the O, in the chest. When he went down. This is right on that lead wrist, the right arm.
And Acta wants somebody to come out. He's coming out of the ball game. Boy, that's tough. Chisenhall been playing at AAA because of injuries. Gets a chance on the call up, and
you just
is
hope
the designated hitter.
Yeah, you hope there's no break there, and
So Chisenhall will come out, and Shelley Duncan will come on as the designated hitter now, and the runner at first base. Looked like perhaps if he was lucky, that may have been just a little bit above the wrist bone.
It appeared to me you could already see the swelling.
Yeah. So Shelley Duncan, the runner, and the new DH. One down, runner at first. Hanahan has popped out and struck out. And he will take the pitch up high for a ball as the Indians look to add to their 5-3 lead here in the 5th inning.
Yeah, Sam Holbrook, the home plate umpire, he's been very consistent tonight, but one of the smaller strike zones. We've seen so many ample strike zones this year.
Not a lot of corners on the plate.
Well, and up and down.
Yep.
The low pitch has been called low, and the high one, right around the belt, that's high. I would assume he'd probably rate there as one of the better hitter umpires. And they do rate him, and they do have.
Yep.
They know exactly what favors or who favors whom, and I'm not really. And again, it's nothing critical. I thought he's been very consistent. He's just he wouldn't be the kind of guy I would like because I want a big strike zone.
Hanahan only 174 off left-handers. Doesn't mind the tight strike zone. Here's the 3-0 delivery to him, taken all the way, and he walked him on 4 straight after hitting a batter.
So you pitch around the lefty to get to the righty. And Lou Marson, he had one of the big hits after they misplayed some balls in the 4th off of 2 strikes. Jake Arrieta got ahead quickly, and eventually he got a 2-2 fastball and hit it right back up the middle.
A couple of walks have been surrendered by Patton a long night for the pitching coach and manager for the Orioles. Here's Marson, the single, and a walk in the game. First and second, one away. And he'll take it to right center field. Jones, oh goodness, somebody called. Jones has got it. Runner tags, throws coming, runners coming, and nobody over there to back it up. But fortunately hauled in by Andino as Shelley Duncan tagged up and took off on what was not a particularly deep fly ball.
Yeah, and Adam, I got it. There's certainly, so he's got to go to his left and throw back, but Troy Patton, you got to be behind there. Nice play by Robert Andino, who just backpedals, because if it gets by him, they're going to get another run.
They're going to challenge at second base as to whether or not he tagged up and left too soon. To do that, the pitcher's got to step on the rubber, then step off, throw to second. Umpire at second says safe. So Shelley Duncan's at third. First and third, 2 down. And Sin-Soo Choo is at the plate. The leadoff batter had a bases loaded walk his last time up. Has struck out, singled and scored in the first inning. Now has a 4-game hit streak.
Yeah, you like this matchup. Choo only hitting 188 with no home runs against lefties. If you make your pitches. And that's the if of pitching.
Inside on a breaking ball that just hung there, way inside.
And that's pretty much been the case. Troy Patton has been so good, other than the 2 runs in Boston. I mean, you have to go back about almost over a month the last time he gave up a run. But tonight, not being able to get on top of the breaking ball.
Almost hit him.
Yep.
That's inside. 2-0, and that.
Well, he keeps wiping his hand. We saw Wei-Yin Chin. And I never thought that the rosin actually, it made, to me, the ball slicker. But what I did use an extra rosin bag was to actually towel off your arm, and then you just put rosin on your arm because it cuts down on the perspiration.
The Ricadair ought to have a word here with Patton. And this is all coming, keep in mind, after he hit Chisenhall and then threw 4 out of the strike zone to Hanahan, and now 2 more out of the strike zone to Choo. In the middle, Marson had that fly ball to center. The 2-0 count. Runners at first and third and 2 down. No attempt to go at first, and that pitch is going to
maybe a foul tip.
Foul ball, maybe. And a 2-ball, 1-strike count.
Well, it's obviously that Troy doesn't know where his release point is at the moment.
Chu asked the umpire, in fact, whether that was a foul ball. It was. 2-1. Patton with a look to first. 2-1 delivery. Fouled off the other way. Evens the count up. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Chu. Indians tonight, RBIs, Chu with one of them. Cabrera the home run RBI, 2 by Kipnis on a bases loaded single. And that will do it. So Patton will get the big strikeout. No runs. A couple of batters left on base, first and third. 2-run lead Indians. Did game 1 of this 4-game set. Gary Thorne, Jim Palmer back here. Jim, I thought for already this season, Buck Showalter has done a magnificent job of handling a ball club that's required a lot of movement of players, both position-wise and in the lineup. But as we said, there comes a point where trying to push those buttons just right every day, where you're putting people out of position, it's going to catch up with you.
Well, it really is. And, again, biggest question, Orioles get off to a great start. They're, 9-10 games over front, 100. Can they keep it up? And you started looking at all the denominators on what good teams do. Do you catch the ball well? No, the Orioles don't. How's your starting pitching? Well, Chen's good. Hamill's good. How do they hit with runners in scoring position? Well, they were pretty good till the last, 3 weeks. The bullpen, best in baseball. What's your team speed? There isn't any. So it all starts. And the challenge, and I played on some really good teams. Now, I played on some great teams that started out slowly, but at the end of the day, they started doing all those things well. The Orioles started doing well. They've won games, they're 9-0, their last extra inning games. They've been on a roll. They just have to kind of weather this and then really find out what kind of club they are. Yeah. I don't think anybody knows. And if you've been around the game, if you played, if you broadcast like you have, it's up to them. And they just have to play better. Right now, they're not playing in concert. They are totally out of tune.
Yeah, none of the pieces have fallen together except the bullpen for the Orioles of late. 2-0 delivery. Andino will take it inside. The Orioles will try and get it going here in the 5th inning. Andino, then Roberts and Avery at the top of the order. Lowe has walked 1, struck out 2. Arrieta left with 5 runs, 8 hits, 3 2/3, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts, and there's a big leadoff walk. That is exactly what the Orioles needed to start the inning, and Andino is on.
So you come in 7 games over 500. You've been struggling. But again, when you strike out a lot and you don't use the whole field, you're home run oriented, you stop hitting home runs, you don't even advance runners. You get the leadoff walk. Right now, Brian Roberts, he worked on him. He had a great at bat his last time, reached on an error the first time. And we've seen him time and time when he's playing regular. He will hit a ball into right field, maybe even hit a home run because he's quick to the ball. So again, it's not always getting base hits. Can you move runners up? And then when you move them up into scoring position, are you getting them home?
Roberts has had 5 hits and 20 at bats, lifetime off Lowe. He's reached on an error, scored, and singled. Runner goes, and it'll be a stolen base. Larson could not get it out of the glove in time, so Andino will take second base as Buck Showalter tries to stay out of that potential double play.
Well, he also sets up the fact that Brian Roberts can now hit a ball to the right side. They're going to concede the run. They'll play the infield back fly ball. When Avery comes up, they'll do a lot of things. Maybe play in at first and third because of his speed.
Andino now 4 out of 6 stealing bases. That pitch is down low. And a 1-ball 2-strike count on Roberts. With Avery waiting on deck.
Well, it's
Orioles,
great. Yeah, it's great. Excuse me. It's great to see Robert run. I mean, he stole 13 bases.
Yeah, and they need it. Orioles just need a jump that you can get with a little bit of a running game that changes situations. And Lowe, looking back, delivers 1-2 and a chopper to second base. Play is made by Kipnis. Productive at bat. Andino goes over to third base with 1 away. On Sunday, July 15, the first 20,000 fans 15 and over will get a replica Orioles home cartoon bird cap presented by DAP. The new white panel home cap has been very popular with all fans. You can get yours. Tigers are in town. 1:35 game, July 15.
It'll be dapper when you have that out. Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's the end of the work week, so okay. All right, they're in at first and third.
It's been that kind of month for the last couple of weeks. Come on.
Avery up. They'll make the play at the plate at first and third if there is one. Second and short will stay back. Avery's grounded out twice.
And the challenge, of course, you got a ground ball pitcher. But anything back up the middle other than to the pitcher is going to get yourself a run. This is what they call situational hitting. Xavier only 22, so it's tough to rush to the big leagues and learn at this level.
Avery's got a 2-0 count from Lowe. Lowe has been just so-so this month to June. Drops his glove as the ground ball goes to second base. They get the out, they get the run. Avery gets the RBI. We're back to a 1-run ball game. Manufactured that one.
Oh, yeah.
5-4.
And we don't see that very often. Good to see. First time in now 10 games they've scored over 3 runs. Got a little help with the errors in the first. But again, the walk, Lowe didn't want to do that with a 2-run lead. You crawl within 1.
So credit Avery with the RBI, his 5th of the year. And now here's Hardy with 2 down. And Hardy will take the slider away for a ball. Something else the Orioles had not been doing. They'd been picking up walks, but they had been unable to move him around. Getting him on base. 15 games, the Orioles had drawn 39 walks, but only 4 of them had come around to score. Here in this ball game, there have been a couple of walks, and they have scored 1 of the 2. And a 2-ball 1-strike count on Hardy. Hardy reached on an error, scored in the first inning, has popped out. He is 5 for 17, lifetime off Low, hitting at 241. Hardy rips it to third, and a great catch by Hanahan as he robs Hardy of a double. 1 run, no hits, no errors, and nobody left on base as Andino came around to score. Great play by Hanahan. 5-4 game. The thing, Madison Bumgarner last night, another one-hitter. San Francisco's the first National League team since '85 to have 4 straight shutouts. The Indians in the win against the Orioles last night, 7 or more runs on home runs last night. First time they've done that since '07 against Detroit, when Hafner, Victor Martinez, Ryan Garco, and Franklin Gutierrez all went deep in that game. And the Rangers were out-homered in the ball game. How about that? Out-homered 3-zip, and Homers still won it against Oakland. The first time they've been out-homered like that and won a ball game dating back to 2009. A couple of team efforts on our notebook.
And then how about Felix Hernandez? 1-0 with 13 strikeouts over the Red Sox.
Walk-off more one person than team.
Yeah.
But not unusual for King Felix.
Well, we're going up to Seattle. I looked, and I'm not laughing. Well, I am laughing because I'm a former pitcher, but the Mariners are hitting .201 at Safeco Field. .201.
You can't hit that low.
No.
You can't do that.
And Eric Wedge, their manager, not only do we have to adjust from a bat to a bat, game to game, pitch to pitch. No, yeah, they're really struggling. Except when Felix.
Yeah. 1 ball, 1 strike delivery by Patton. It is foul back. We have a 5-4 ball game. Indians on top, out hitting the Orioles in this game as they've put up 8 hits on the board. They have also stranded 8 runners in the ball game so far. Chu, their leadoff batter, has been a big part of it. Bases loaded, walk, single, run scored. 1 ball, 2 strike count. Patton's pitch, he got it inside a little bit. That'll go to right field. Flaherty is out there. Adam Jones doesn't even come close. And Flaherty makes the catch for the out. O's Extra postgame tune-in brought to you by PNC Bank for the Achiever in you. Jim and Rick standing by at the ballpark. Take a look at how this one ends up. Buck Showalter will have his news conference. We'll listen in. Player interviews and more coming up after the ball game. 1 down, 6th inning. Showalter hoping. Team battling back here to get to within 1 again. A big 4th inning, 3 runs, 4 hits when the Indians batted around has given them the lead. Kipnis has certainly had a night already. Kipnis 2 for 3, 2 singles, 2 RBIs. The blow in the 4th inning with the bases loaded, the single good for 2 ribbies, took Arrieta out of the ball game and brought Patton in. Patton has not surrendered a hit, bunted to third, barehanded 1 hop, and Dino picked. No. Bellamy could not come up with it. Might have had the out if he could have, but that'll be a base hit and a 3 for 4 ball game for Kipnis.
Well, what a smart hitter. Line drive hitter, occasional power, lays one down, not a great bunt. Robert, and he runs pretty well. Going to take a look right here, coming in, trying to get. And again, Bellamy just can't quite come up with it. Not a great throw, but again, had to really hurry.
Kipnis has got his 7th 3-hit ball game of the year. So Kipnis is on at first base on the bunt single. He is Brantley, the cleanup batter. He's had an RBI base hit, a walk, and he's grounded out. Hit number 9 for the Indians on the first base hit against Patton. He's walked a couple and hit a batter. And the fastball will miss up high to Brantley. So these Indian hitters now getting their 2nd look at Troy Patton.
And he's stolen 16 straight games just in case he wants to run. And hardly ever run on Troy Patton. And Wieters.
1-0 off-speed pitch and a good one for a strike. Numbers Jim talking about. Stolen base success. The longest active streaks right now belong to Chase Utley and Kipnis.
18 on the year, 16 in a row. Does a lot of little things, doesn't he?
Good player.
Yeah.
A really good player. 1 ball, 1 strike count. He's leaning. He's going. Ground ball to the hole. Nice backup Hardy, and he gets it. Brantley trying to put it right where the hole was going to be when the shortstop went over to cover, but Hardy made a nice play to get back. Inside the Numbers brought to you by Kia Motors. To learn more, visit kia.com. See the highest win percentage 1-run games this year. These two teams 1 and 2. As the Indians and Orioles have picked up a lot of one-run wins. The Braves, Giants, and Pirates in that order. One-run ball game right now, but you got to believe it's not going to stay that way one way or the other.
Well, what's so amazing about that number is, other than Chris Perez, their bullpen's been struggling. They're 13th out of 14 teams pitching, yet they're able to win the one-run ball games. Good defense. We know why the Orioles number is pretty good, because the bullpen.
Johnny Damon's had an 0 for 3 in the ball game, 1 for 6 in the series. Runner at second base. Moving down on that play was Kipnis. There are 2 down.
Or do you think it's the fact that maybe they have a 2 or 3 run lead that ends up to be a 1-run win?
That's the other way that sometimes happens. It doesn't show up.
No, you're right.
Yeah. Bullpen gives up runs. They came on. They were ahead by 3, 4, 5.
And then it's 1.
It ends up being 9-8. And that is fouled back by Johnny Damon.
Well, as the late Cal Ripken Sr. used to say when he coached third, he said, hey, all we need is 1 more than they'd have.
That's all it takes.
I keep telling DeMarlo Hale, the Orioles have to get back to that. Just 1. Be nice more. You can relax a little bit.
Doesn't matter, though.
Just 1.
Just 1. 1 ball, 2 strike count. And Damon on a check swing. Did he go at third base? No.
Well,
Joe West.
Take a look, and Joe West, who had a nice game behind the plate, this is what he's looking at. Didn't he? Well, not really, but I've seen guys get rung up on those kind of pitches.
2 ball, 2 strike count on Damon. And he'll foul it away.
Well, the point, Roger Kahn wrote some terrific books on baseball and the Boys of Summer, the era, 47, 57 Yankees, Dodgers, and Giants. And he wrote another book, Good Enough to Dream, where he's actually a general manager in A-ball. And he said, until you're a general manager or a player, coach, fan, you don't realize the difference between 1 run. Emotionally, what it does. And good at bat right there.
Damon had a reach, make sure, fouled it off.
When you lose by 5 or you lose 13-1, like the Orioles did to the Angels, you go, well, yeah, we should have done it, or could have done a few different things, but those you don't really think about the 1-run wins, but the 1-run losses really.
Coulda, woulda, shoulda.
Yeah.
Back in the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, exactly. Something happened. Yep. Here's the 2-2 delivered to Damon, and he got him. Patton picks up the strikeout, his 3rd, and again Patton comes on to give some extended relief work and good work. 1-run ball game goes on. At it again, game 3 of this 4-game set. Danny Evelyn takes the mound against Josh Tomlin. Our coverage, Masson 2 HD 330, and O's Extra presented by Jeep will have special coverage of the Earl Weaver Sculpture unveiling and ceremonies, followed by our game coverage at 4. All the access you need right here on Masson. 3-5 and a high ERA for Tomlin. Danny Evelyn, a little shakeup in the rotation.
Yep, trying to get the lefty in. As we mentioned, they came in 5-16 against lefties, even though they beat Wei-Yin Chen. So Derek Lowe hanging around through the 6th. Pitch count still within hand. A lot of sinkers, 79%.
That's hit hard to short, one-handed by Cabrera. And Adam Jones on a pitch is retired in the bottom half of the 6th inning. Jones now 1 for 3 in the game. Benavides and Davis to follow against Lowe. Lowe, as we said, he's a great veteran. It's his 372nd start and his 650th career appearance. He was a tremendous reliever. He got turned into a starter, and in his first year as a starter ended up 3rd in the balloting for the Cy Young Award. And he had a 21-win season. He was 21-8 with Boston in 2002, and that was the first year that he went to be a starter. He ended up 3rd behind Barry Zito and Pedro Martinez in the voting.
Yeah, and the Orioles general manager or vice president of baseball operations, Dan Duquette.
That one is ripped towards the corner in right field. Chu chasing it down, plays it well off the wall. Benavides continues hot, a double single and 3 times up. And our PNC minor league report brought to you by PNC for the achiever in you. Continuing to follow Dylan Bundy. See at the bottom at Frederick, 4-2, 3.14 ERA in 6 starts. Last night, Winston-Salem got the win, 5 innings, a run, 4 hits. Circle that again.
Gave up a run.
How'd that happen?
How did this happen? How did he give up 3? Man, must be a good league. Well, he is moving up, and that's a good thing.
Yes. Continues to do all good things for Dylan Bundy.
I got to ask Buck Showalter tomorrow what the pitch count was. I know they're trying to keep it down.
Orioles get the potential tying run on at first base. 1 away, 6th inning. Davis. He's driven in a run and a ground ball, and he's walked. Benavides.
So it's really so simple. Hit a home run, you'll have a lead.
You'll feel better.
Yeah, much better. As you mentioned, came in at 1 for 35, home run power. Arrieta will get off the hook. You'll forget about the missed plays in the inning, and you just kind of move on. Well, the Orioles fans can move on.
Well, that's what you do. And that's going to be a base hit in left center field. Benavides got it in front of him. He'll make the turn. Johnny Damon's throw will come to second base, and the Orioles have it going. They cover the corners with 1 away.
Okay, just hit a single, a long single to left field, get to first and third. Cover the outside corner. Go with the pitch. There's your 2-seamer. Look at it going left to right. He leaves it up. That's not where the sinker wants to be. A nice at bat by Chris Davis.
Benavides saw Davis. Damon had to go get it.
Yeah, and he doesn't have a good throwing arm, so the scouting report certainly helps you there.
So our first visit to the mound, Scott Radinsky will come out with runners at first and third and only 1 away, and Matt Wieters coming up. Radinsky, one of the game's hard throwers in his day.
He certainly doesn't look too uptight.
Not laughing.
Yeah, hey, do your thing. Try to get a ground ball. Of course, you know Matt Wieters wants to get one in the air. Maybe do more.
Well, you got the ground ball pitchers. This is where hitting those ground balls can matter. Ricardo, Sip up in the bullpen.
Yeah, so
first action.
Sip has really been struggling. And Jeremy Ricardo coming off a bad inning, but we had him last year. He's actually pitched pretty well for him.
Wieters 0 for 2. Way back. In right. Fair ball. Goodbye. Home run. Hello, Utah Street. A 3 RBI homer for Matt Wieters. And the Orioles have a 7-5 lead.
Looked like a little changeup. So I was at hitter league. Even a bigger inning. Boy, a couple of long home runs here at Camden Yards. The fireworks start early for the Orioles. Way out of here.
The 11th of the year, and the Orioles go back on top by 2. Lowe gives up just his 6th home run of the year, and Matt Wieters gets it.
Take a look right here, and maybe a two-seamer down and in. The happy zone for left-handed hitters.
9 of his 11 home runs have come from the left side of the plate, and watch how far this one travels. Wow.
Well, the game winner on Sunday went almost into the top of the Oriole bullpen. That's how far he hit it, but he hit it right-handed for the 2-1 win. And he hit it so easily off of Sean Burnett, who had only thrown 1 home run to that point. Tried to sneak one in on Matt. That didn't work too well.
So the Orioles back on top. 1-2 delivery by Lowe. That's going to be taken down low. Flaherty's had an 0 for 2 in the ball game for Matt Wieters. Now 37 RBIs on the year, 25 of those from the left side of the plate. And Lowe will miss down low, and you get the feeling that he may be close to the end. Flaherty will be followed by Andino here in the 6th inning.
Well, very, very hot, and it's not where you want to be when you're up in the zone if you're a sinker baller. And you can see, other than the first inning, when they made the error, it was very efficient.
And he walked it. So the inning continues for the Orioles. 3rd walk surrendered in the ball game by Lowe, and that'll be it. Maniac is on his way out. Lowe just tosses the rosin bag up in the air, mad at himself. He went out with a chance to be a winning pitcher in the ball game to start the inning. He will leave the inning with a chance to be the loser. He threw an even 100 pitches for the runner on at first base. Lowe is out. The Orioles on the Wieters home run, back on top 7-5. .44 ERA in the month of June. Will leave with those numbers.
Yeah, again, it certainly didn't get any help with his defense early on, but the 3-run home run we saw, at least from the Orioles' perspective, the Indians hit 2 of those last night, ended up winning, scoring 7 on the board. So Lowe leaves. Jeremy Cardo comes on. It's been a little bit of a struggle, runs in 3 of his last 6 outings. So the ERA has gone all the way from 1.454 all the way over 4 runs a game. And, you know, again, we saw him actually the walks down last year. And you can see, and that's unusual. Righties. Cut fastball. He used to throw in the mid-90s. Actually, you want to go way back. He saved 30 games for Toronto, but that's back in 2007. Last year for the Orioles, 31 games, but an ERA of over 5 runs a game.
Jeremy Accardo on the mound. Runner at first base is Flaherty. Only 1 down. The Orioles have 3 runs in here in the 6th inning. And Dino, the number 9 hitters at the plate. He drew a walk, scored in the 5th inning.
So, Gary, these are the situations you talked about adding runs. A lot of times, and we saw the Angels do it so well, and they must have done it well last night, even though they had a couple of home runs, 9 runs on the board against Toronto. Hit the ball the other way.
Pitch out.
You know, we saw time after time Ibar and Trout, who had 4 hits on Wednesday, shoot the ball into right field. So again, we saw Robert Andino. He got to play a lot before Brian Roberts came back. Struck out 37 times in May. That's not conducive to moving runners along.
1-0 count. And that's fouled away. Andino with a 1-ball, 1-strike count as the Orioles try and get out of this 3-game losing streak. They've had the lead in this ball game a couple of times now, 3-1 at one point. Now up 7-5. Matt Wieters, 2 home runs tonight have gone out to Utah Street. Wieters getting one of them. The other one was hit by Cabrera. There have been only 64 ever out on Utah Street. There goes the runner. Here's the throw down by Morrison. It's high, and it's a stolen base. Flaherty gets it.
Well, you got to push the envelope. Andino stole the base earlier, scored, situational hitting, manufactured a run, high throw, underneath the tag, good throw gets him. And a little splitters, gets there a little bit longer. Almost tagged him. Looked like he almost came down the thigh, grazed the knee.
His first ever stolen base. So Flaherty is on at second base. Infield now creeping in at third at least. Andino up and takes it. And a 3-ball, 1-strike count from Accardo. So Flaherty moving down. The Orioles showing a little more willingness to run in this ball game. Have created situations, and here's one of them where it forces Hanahan to come in at third base because of Andino's speed with one away. And that's outside, and he walked it. Well, Accardo surrenders the walk, and there are runners on first and second for Brian Roberts.
Well, we've seen Jeremy where used to throw, as I mentioned, in the mid-90s, but last year it was pretty much about can you command your stuff? Can you get ahead of hitters versus being behind? And that's what he did to Robert Andino.
2-on. Roberts with a single, reached on an error, run scored, and he has grounded out. Brian Roberts lashes that one the other way, foul. So we said the Orioles finally getting over the 3-run mark, 10 games in a row, the longest since 1988, in which they have not scored more than 3 runs in a game. That ends here in this ball game tonight. It's the most runs they've put up in a ball game since Pittsburgh on June 14, when they had a 12-6 win against the Pirates. Here's the 0-1 delivery, and that's going to be way inside, and a 1-ball, 1-strike count.
Yeah, Gary, and if you look at Manny Acta and his bullpen, obviously this game, the Orioles, what they do so well, but Hagedorn, one left-hander, has given up 16 earned runs in 23 innings, and Tony Sipp, your other left-hander, 9 runs in his last 9 innings. Rafael Perez with some physical problems, so you don't really have a guy. Otherwise, you probably turn Brian Roberts around.
They really don't. They're really concerned about that. They don't know when Perez is going to get back. So they're left with 2 left-handers in the bullpen who, as Jim just pointed out, are not pitching well. And they're trying to figure out what to do with that.
So you get the better matchup, and then you have Avery, who you'd like to match up on, and yet nobody throwing in their bullpen.
2-1 delivery to Roberts is going to get down to first base. Kochman goes to Cabrera. Throw to first, almost. Roberts gets down there in time. Cabrera wasn't going to throw, but he looked and saw Roberts wasn't close, so decided to give it a whirl. Roberts reaches fielder's choice.
So again, you have a very good fielding first baseman. Look how quick Kochman gets rid of this. And then right here, right there, that's what you're talking about. Umpire has to get out of the way. And I think Brian knows he's going to beat it. But again, when you don't go full out, he does air it out and almost gets him.
First and third, there are 2 down. Roberts on with the fielder's choice, and that will bring up Avery. Hanahan will play in at third even with 2 down because of his speed. Flaherty's the lead runner at third base, and the pitch for a ball. Flaherty, the responsibility of the starter, Derek Lowe.
Yeah, we saw Ayala come in and give up a couple of inherited runners last night on the Cabrera 3-run home run. The Orioles would like that to happen again.
1-0 delivered to Avery, and he'll foul that one the other way. Now the Orioles picking up on a lot of things they were not getting done. The ball game's not over, but they are scoring some runs. They have done a little running in this ball game, picked up 2 stolen bases so far in the game. The fielding has not come around, certainly.
No. Well, that certainly helped the skid of Jake Arrieta. I mean, probably be, as I mentioned, the first guy to tell you wasn't sharp, but it didn't make it any easier.
Runner goes from first. There'll be no throw. Strike on the inside corner, and Roberts will be credited with a stolen base. So Brian Roberts gets one of the easier stolen bases that he will ever pick up, and that is his first one for the Orioles this year, 1 for 2.
Yeah, you look at bullpen numbers, you look at how about inherited runners. So for Ricardo, only 1 out of 6. Done a nice job.
Avery with a 1-2 count. And Avery on a check swing. They go to third. Did he go? No.
Thought it might have the inside corner, but it was inside. Nope. That never got through the hitting zone. Look at, he's looking down though, just to see.
2 ball, 2 strike count.
I think I read his lips. I love your music, Joe. Joe West, the country western umpire.
Here's the 2-2 delivery, and I must say, Joe West, you look marvelous. You know who you are. He has lost some weight. Joe looks, I mean that. Joe looks really good. Well, it's got to be good for him.
He did umpire very well last night.
That's great.
He had a terrific game. Yeah.
3 ball, 2 strikes.
Of course, to be honest, we saw some really bad umpiring early in the week, but
so
he
you're
was
talking
good.
relativity.
No, he was good.
Okay.
He was
3-2 delivery, foul back.
All you wanted is consistency, and I mean, you're going to see what 300-400 pitches a night usually. If you're an umpire, you're going to miss some. But how about just having a plan and consistent strike zone from the first to the ninth? And Joe did that.
3-2 away. Orioles with 2 in scoring position. Very important runs. They have a 2-run lead in the ball game. You're in the 6th inning. 3-2 delivery, and that's inside. They're loaded. Ricardo has come on and given up a couple of walks to 2 of the 3 batters he's faced. Bases loaded for J.J. Hardy.
Well, you mess around in the middle of the plate, the Orioles are going to have a substantial lead. J.J. with a double on a fastball last night, hanging slider for a 2-run home run. He came into that game, even though he had some good at-bats against the Angels, just as he did on the line drive, hitting in bad luck.
Hardy will take it. It is there for a strike. The Orioles, like the Indians, have only 1 grand slam on the year. Matt Wieters has it for the Orioles. Hardy's got 3 in his career. Ricardo with an 0-1 count. Hardy puts it up in the air, center field. Brantley is there and will make the catch. The Orioles bat around in the 6th inning. They come up with a Wieters 3 RBI homer. Orioles' first 3-run homer since one against the Pirates on June 14 by Steve Pearce. total of $900 from the Maryland Lottery. For your chance to be the Maryland Lottery contestant of the game, play Strike It Rich scratch-offs and enter your non-winning ticket codes at mdlottery.com/strikeItRich. Troy Patton, longest outing this season against Tampa Bay, 52 pitches thrown in that ball game. Patton is now the pitcher of record for the Orioles.
Yeah, came in. I mean, he's made a couple of really good pitches. He got Chu out with the bases loaded. You can see really mixed up his pitches. Actually, more breaking stuff tonight. So it looks to me with Duncan coming in for Chisenhall that was hit. Hope he's all right. You'll probably have the matchup lefty to lefty and then maybe go to the bullpen because it is 100 degrees or so. And the pitch is taken for a strike. Casey Kochman leading it off. It'll be Kochman, Duncan, and Hanahan due up. Kochman has singled, scored, 1 for 3 in the ball game, 1 for 5 so far in the series. First baseman will take the pitch inside. Patton came on to pitch in the 4th inning. Got the final out. So he's gone 2 1/3. He worked 3 innings in that Tampa Bay game. He's given up only the 1 hit. He has walked a couple, hit a batter. Center field, Jones got to go way back. Not going to get it. It'll take a hop off the wall. Kochman on his way to second base. Here's the throw, overthrown, and it will be a double. So Kochman starts the 7th inning out with his 2nd hit of the game. Yeah, he hit 300 last year for the Rays and hit some home runs, and he can pick it, but they wanted more power right down the middle. And you can see Troy Patton put his head down. And just did not want to throw it in the middle of the plate.
So the matchups will begin. Buck Showalter on his way out. That will be in it for Patton, but a good job as he worked the 2 1/3 innings in relief. And he charged with a couple of hits in the ball game, responsible for Kochman, who's on. The Orioles with a 7-5 lead. Retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Orioles. Darren O'Day out of the bullpen to try and help Troy Patton out.
Yeah, the ERA crept up a little bit. Last pitched on Wednesday in a kind of a blowout tune-up inning for him. Gave up a couple of runs on 3 hits. He's been awfully good for him. You can see hardly ever walks anybody, almost a strikeout per inning. No matter if you're lefty or righty, he can get you out. But again, against the Angels, when they were hitting everybody, they would end up with 13 hits that night. 3 hits, couple of walks, couple of strikeouts.
Shelley Duncan will get his first at bat. Duncan came on after Chisenhall, the DH, was hit by a pitch in the 5th inning. Went out with a bruised wrist. X-rays to be taken later on, and that one almost catches him. Duncan, of course, the one of the baseball sons of the longtime pitching coach of the St. Louis Cardinals, Dave Duncan. Shelley Duncan has been around a while now, since 2001 in pro ball. Got some playing time in the American League with the Yankees and has been with the Indians since 2010.
Well, he's a power guy. Yeah, one of those guys always trying to have one of those years. I guess he maybe a 4A guy where he's in between. In the minor leagues he's going to hit a lot of home runs. Of course, his dad was a terrific catcher, great pitching coach with the Cardinals.
Runner at second base, nobody out. 1-1 delivery on the way. That one in the gap, left center field. Nobody's going to get that one. That is going to be cut off. Avery had it bounce on him. A run will score. Throw coming into second. Head first dive and in with a double. Duncan gets the RBI and a two-bagger, and we're back to a one-run ball game at 7-6.
Yeah, the bullpen's been so good. They tried to get the matchup. Kochman ruins that by belting a double over the head of Adam Jones, and then right here you can see the ball up. And if you catch it, he doesn't go to second. If he does, he's out. But Xavier Avery can't do it. And then heads up. We've already seen Duncan Shelley on a short fly ball to Adam Jones, went to third from second. So very aggressive base running. And then that's your tying run.
14 RBIs for Duncan. Here's Hanahan now. 11 hits on the board for the Indians. That run will be charged to Troy Patton. And the pitch is away for a ball with nobody out. And Dino is in at third base, kind of that 45-degree look, keeping an eye at second and an eye on the hitter. Hanahan has walked, struck out, popped out. Hanahan might bunt here to try and move the potential tying run over.
Either that or hit one, to the right side, like we've seen the Orioles do on many occasions tonight.
Strike taken, and he evens it up 1-1. No Manny Acton, Buck Showalter now in a matchup game for the rest of this ball game. We're in the 7th inning. Going to figure out who to get out there to get the outs, or from Acta's side to get the hits.
And you could see him just trying to reach out and pull it to the right side. That's not always easy to do, even though you'd think that with a submariner, right-hander versus left-hander, just the release point is so foreign to what hitters are used to.
Good job on the delivery so far by Darren O'Day, keeping that ball away. The only problem with that is, while he may not hit it to the right side, there's a big hole between third and short.
The brace chart must say that he hits balls up the middle, because that's where Hardy's playing.
1-2's foul back. Came back in that time. Keeps the count at a ball and 2 strikes on Hanahan.
Yeah, trying to go up the ladder because he's ahead. And he just pops it up, but out of play, straight back.
Hanahan not had a hit in his last 8 at-bats. Trying to get that potential tying run moved over to third base in the 7th inning. Here's the 1-2. Up with that one, and a 2-ball, 2-strike count.
Hey, you look at Jack's batting average, he's about 50 points better with runners in scoring position, over 300, only hitting right around 248, 250.
And pretty good contact hitter, only 27 strikeouts and 14 walks on the year. He puts the ball in play. Here's the 2-2 delivery to him, and again outside, 3-2.
Well, you have to understand, he's the potential go-ahead run.
You got Marson, the right-hander, waiting on deck, the number 9 hitter. So you don't want to be too fat with this one. 3-ball, 2-strike count. Hanahan got it into that hole, left center field. Avery, they're going to hold the runner at third. So Hanahan delivers.
That ball was about 6 inches off the plate outside, and he did exactly what you talked about. Watch this ball. Again, I mean, this is ball 4. Well, look how far. It's almost into the, maybe not the middle of the right-handed batter's box. So that's bat control. That is a young hitter. Well, he's not that young, but he's been around, but a guy not trying to overswing.
So the Indians have first and third covered. Nobody out, down by a run. Marson has single, walked fly out. Duncan, the lead runner. He's got the RBI double. He's at third. Hanahan with a single at first. Lou Marson gets another chance. Nobody out. Infield double play depth. And the pitch is inside for a ball. 12 hits now for the Indians. They've out hit the Orioles times 2. 12-6. The Orioles, Matt Lindstrom, recently activated up in the bullpen, just started throwing. One-0 delivery. And that is on the outside corner for a strike. Turning around Marson. Give me one of those and I'm catching. That's all I ask.
Just a hanging breaking ball. And pretty much right down the middle. Was he trying to get a ball in the air? That would be the least that he would like to do. He's already walked and hit a single up the middle. Had a good night. Oh yeah. Can't wait for next year.
Not a word.
Yeah. I'm going to outlaw that play next year. I'll be so happy.
That'll be taken up at the owners meeting at the World Series. 1 ball, 1 strike count. Runners off first and third is the 1-1 delivery. Ground ball to short, runners coming. Hardy's going to go for 2. There's one. Roberts relay. They get the double play, but the ball game is tied. So they gave up the run. Duncan will score. And the ball game's at 7-7, even up again.
Well, feisty little club, this Indians. Came in with a 5-game losing streak. And they just coming back. No RBI, but a couple of doubles. And they tied up 7-7.
So Troy Patton no longer a chance to be the winning pitcher in the ball game. Patton, by the way, charged with a run in the 2 1/3 innings on 2 hits. O'Day charged with the run that ties the ball game up. Here's Chu, the leadoff batter. The 2 down, pitch away to him. Single, run scored, RBI, and a bases loaded walk, and he has struck out twice. 277 on the year. And this is one of those situations where he will try and drive the long ball with 2 down, nobody on.
And we've seen he already hit a home run.
That one off the fist is going to fall in for a base hit. Orioles playing fairly deep in the outfield, and that was one of those fisters. There is the 4th hit of the inning. Chu's on with 2 down.
Yeah, Gary, you shift around because he took a fastball off Wei and Chen and hit it down the left field line for a home run. So if you're Adam Jones, you need to know he's got great power the other way, so you tend to overplay him that way. And then the routine fly ball is not routine. Nobody's playing there.
Wayne Kirby's had to do a lot of adjusting of outfielders because there have been so many out there who haven't played very much. And that's what he's doing again. Flaherty making just his 8th start in right field. Avery just his 17th in left. And here's Cabrera. 2 down. They fake a go at first base. Chu comes back to the bag. Cabrera got his 11th home run. Picked it up in the 3rd inning. A Utah Street drive leading off the inning. A lot of base runners and a lot of hits in this game. 14 runs, a combined 19 hits. Chu over there at first base with 2 away. Does not want to take the bat out of the hand of Cabrera. Aaron O'Day, the 0-1 delivery to him. And had to fight that one off in an 0-2 count. Cabrera, 6 home runs on the road and 5 at home. Totals that he's put up, so he's putting them out everywhere. Orioles outfield obviously deep on him. Chu getting the look-see over there at first base. 2 runs in here in the 7th inning. Indians have tied the ball game up. And up and in. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Cabrera. And Duncan on the right, who came in with the tying run on as the replacement designated hitter. O'Day, the 1-2 delivery, and that's going to be a base hit into right field. Chu will make the turn. Flaherty over to get it. And the Indians will keep the inning going. So Cabrera's on with his second hit, and there are runners at first and third with 2 down.
So the Chu base hit just finds a soft spot in the defense, and right here, nice little at bat. Still out in front, but hooks it into right field.
And Buck Showalter out again. Trying to push the right buttons here and keep these matchups coming. So a 2 down tie ball game. Runners on at first and third. The Indians now with 14 hits in the ball game. But he gives up 4 hits and a couple of base runners on his responsibility. Temperature when we started the game was up to 102 degrees. Hit index of 112. Dropped to 87 with the index now at 95.
Yeah, the humidity has been around in the low 20s, but that's not the case anymore. Matt Lindstrom comes off the disabled list, pitches a tune-up inning against the Angels, gives up a walk, a couple of hits, a run. He's been very good, but to be quite honest, he hasn't really only been out there once in the last 40-some days because of the tendon problem in his middle finger of his throwing hand. So you can see lefties hit him real well at 364, and that's exactly who they have at the plate, Jason Kipnis.
Kipnis, 3-hit ball game. First and third, 2 down. And he'll take it inside. 3 singles, one of those coming in the 4th inning with the bases loaded. Good for 2 RBIs. As Kipnis continues to pump the average up at 280 on the year. And he's got Chu and Cabrera on.
And he's 100 points higher when you get runners in scoring position. Came in at 380.
And the pitch will be taken inside for a ball. Kipnis has an unusual look at the pitcher when he, before really he gets to the start position, kind of lays the bat out over the plate, then up as the pitcher gets ready to go into the set position. 2-0 delivery on the way and a ground ball towards short. Hardy will have to go to first, but a hurry, and got him. Kipnis diving head first, trying to beat it, but 2 runs in. We've got a tie ball game. 7th inning stretch time is brought to you by Jack Daniel's Tennessee Honey. Fly straight, drink responsibly. Time brought to you by Miller Lite. You certainly need some of that tonight. Gary Thorne, Jim Palmer, everybody, and ball game seesawing back and forth. So the Orioles came in not scoring many runs at all. 10 games where they had 3 or fewer. Not the case tonight, but 7's not enough either.
Well, it's 7-7. There's like 22 hits. The Orioles get 3 unearned runs. The Indians get 7 runs, but 2 of them should have been not scored. I don't really know what's going to go on here. I know there's fireworks after the game's over, but there's been a lot of strange things. The Orioles need a win. You know, the interesting thing to me is that, you know, the Indians, they came in losing 5. They know the Orioles. They get their advanced scouts. We're thinking, oh, we can get well. They've won 5 in a row. They're thinking exactly the same thing. So it's anybody's ball game.
And it is a grinded out ball game. And you get to the point now where it's one you really don't want to lose because you've had to put major effort into this game just to get it tied.
Well, you really have. And, you know, Patton pitched pretty well, maybe left, 100 degrees. That one extra hitter, Kochman get the hit. O'Day, we've seen him be so good. So Joe Smith comes in. He pitched last night. He was very good. Look at those numbers.
5-1 mark. The 35 games that have been played, and the Orioles wanted to get to this bullpen. This has been the soft part of this ball club this year, and now they'll see if it pays off. You see what the righties have done. Actually, the numbers as far as the batting average are concerned are not too high. So the Orioles will face a sidearmer themselves as Smith drops down, coming on for Accardo. And as Jeremy Accardo came on and worked in the 6th inning to get the final outs, gave up a couple of walks. No runs, though, and no hits.
Yeah, Smith, who was in 71 games for him last year. Scott Radinsky was telling me, he said, you know, he is a sidearmer, as you mentioned, Gary. He has a good breaking ball. But sometimes when he gets in trouble, it might keep command. He said, throw it for the middle of the plate. It's not going to end up there with all that movement. So he's been pitching very well for him.
Way outside. Adam Jones leading it off as he did the last inning. He grounded out. He's 1 for 3 in the ball game. The Orioles batted around in the 6th, getting 3 runs on 3 hits and leaving the bases loaded. Jones will pump that one back. 11 have been left off by the Indians and 5 by the Orioles. The most home runs leading off an inning. David Ortiz still on top. These numbers haven't moved very much for the top players. Bautista's been hot this month. Jay Bruce has climbed the ladder a little bit, but Ortiz and Jones kind of stayed right there in the month of June.
Had like 14 home runs in the month of June.
Shattered the bat down to third base. Hanahan up, running throw, and got him with a tag. That's Casey Kochman. That's a real good first baseman who saves a lot of errors.
Well, you have speed, and if you're Jack Hanahan, again, a very good fielder. What's hard about here, it hits right short of the lip. So you catch it and tag him at the same time. And pretty close. Watch the glove. And able to get him right before that foot's down. Terrific camera work to give you an idea of how close it was.
Couple of defensive plays made by Hanahan in this ball game that have made a difference. He picked off a line drive earlier that mattered, and a strike taken. Betemit continues to hit. RBI double in the 1st inning, single scored in the 6th inning. 2 for 3 in the ball game for Wilson Betemit. Hitting at 277 now, and will take the pitch down low. Aaron Cunningham has come into the ballgame to play in left field. He's on for Johnny Damon. A defensive replacement, if you will. Swung on and missed 1 and 2. But Showalter was talking about Betemit, even though he's the hottest bat hitting in the 5 spot. You might think he'd move a little higher. He said, well, I want to give a little protection if I can to Adam Jones. With Betemit hitting well, I'd like to have somebody behind Jones to give him a chance to see a few more pitches and pick up his bat, maybe giving some pitches to hit that he wouldn't otherwise get.
Yeah, against left-handed starters is as good and as well as Matt Wieters is hitting. You can move him and hit him 5th. 2 ball, 2 strike count on Betemit.
He'll slash that one foul.
Well, it's amazing when you look at Wilson. I asked him a couple of days ago. I said, what's the difference? He said, upright. I was crouched over, wasn't seeing the ball, couldn't really get the bat head to it. All he did with Jim Presley, his hitting instructor, stand up caller. We saw Aubrey Huff do it.
Yep.
He had the American League in extra base hits with, I think, 82. And all he did was get a little bit taller. Different hitting instructor, Terry Crowley, at that time.
Inside to Betemit. The other thing Buck Showalter was talking about with Betemit today, says you're at a point in the season where sometimes players can have their emotions start to affect their bats. If they're not going well, they start tightening up a little bit. It's getting into the dog days. He says Betemit's not like that. He's got a level playing condition psychologically. And that's one of the reasons he says he's hitting as well as he is. Kipnis at second base will make the play on that one, and there are two down. A couple of ground ball outs coming out of Smith in the game. And sadly, we had Dewey Chisenhall got hit in the hand in the fifth inning. It's a fractured right ulna.
Yeah, that's what I was afraid of because of that lump right away.
Well, it's a tough break for the Indians, and especially for Chisenhall getting a chance to come up and play from the minors. So Maniacta will have a move to be made. The Indians will after the ball game. Here is Chris Davis. Davis picking up a base hit in that big sixth inning as he looped one the other way. He's had an RBI and a ground ball out and drawn a walk, so pretty good night for the Oriole designated hitter. And will take the pitch away and gets ahead on the count 2-0. 7-14-2 for the Indians, 7-6-0 for the Orioles. 11 left on by the Indians. And the Orioles have stranded 3 in scoring position, 5 total. Here's the 2-0 delivery, shattered bat. That's going to go to center and another base hit. Davis has a 2-hit ball game, and it's been a while for Chris Davis.
Yeah, when you're throwing an 0 for 29, 1 for 35, you'll take these. I'd like to get a pitch you could drive, but again, the movement gets you. And hits it right up on the label. And there goes the bat sailing towards the pitcher's mound. But it gets Wieters to the plate. Matt already with that mammoth home run.
Mammoth to Utah Street on the home run that he picked up in the 6th inning, a 3 RBI homer. And he will take the pitch outside for a ball. Left-handed, that's been the way to go.
Oh, yeah. Well, even though he was hitting around 400 right-handed, last year had a monster year, 11 of his 22 home runs from the other side of the plate. And the thing they worked on, and we saw it result in a really firm line drive to left, is that when Matt's really hitting well, we saw him pull the ball, he can go out of here to left center field. They're hitting from this side of the plate.
Little discussion at the mound. Time to text in your vote for the AT&T Player of the Game. The candidates so far: Wilson Betemit, who's had a big night with a couple of hits, RBI, runs scored. Matt Wieters, big 3 RBI homer. Troy Patton, 2 1/3 innings, a run and a couple of hits. Text in your vote, A, B, or C. 318-26. 2-0 delivery to Wieters. And that is in there for a strike.
I think I can hear Earl Weaver texting right now. I'm going with the guy, 3-run home run. Don't know how to spell his last name, won't matter. That Matt guy.
Matt guy. It was Matt's first 3-run homer of the season. 3 ball, 1 strikeout. Runner on at first base, 7-7 ball game, 7th inning. 2 down. Wieters takes it outside and he's on. So after getting the first 2 out, a single and a walk for the Orioles. And Flaherty gets the chance. Orioles have picked up 6 walks in the game, 3 off Lowe, 2 off Accardo, and now 1 off Smith.
So he got behind Chris Davis. He wanted to be careful to Matt Wieters. And now he's got a Rule 5 guy, first year in the big leagues. Not a lot of opportunities for Ryan Flaherty. You think he might like to atone for the ball he let drop?
Yes.
I think that might be the case.
Ryan Flaherty starting in right field. First and second, 2 down. Flaherty will take it inside. The Oriole fans have probably heard right field's going to continue to be a position where players will be shuffled for a while. Markakis is not going to go on the road trip, and the hoped for speedier than expected return has not happened. 1-0 delivery. He's got a base hit into right field. Chu's got an arm. Picks it up. Runner coming to the plate. The throw. Davis is in. Flaherty the RBI. Go ahead. 8-7.
Well, what they like about Ryan Flaherty is, again, a minor league guy that has to keep all year long, is that he's got a pretty good sense for baseball. So when a guy's wild, what do you look for? Something in the middle of the plate. He wants to throw a strike, and he's waiting for Joe Smith to throw him a fastball, and he doesn't miss it. And again, it was going to be a bang play, but the short hop throw because Chu. So right here, you're wild. Well, actually, it's a pretty better pitch than I thought. He just goes out and gets it, and then hits it where nobody's playing, into the hole, into right field, and you can see bang, but the throw just about 3 feet up the line.
Flaherty gets his 5th RBI of the year. First and third, 2 down, and a 2-out RBI at that. So the Orioles are back on top, 8-7. Robert Andino. He has walked, scored, walked again, got taken out of the base paths and grounded out. Andino will take it. It will miss. And a 2-0 count as Smith continues to pitch behind the hitters.
And here comes Scott Radinsky. Basically, hey, it's not going where you want it, and it's moving all over the place.
So the Orioles looking to add now to a 1-run ball game. Maniac is on the phone again. Lowe, Accardo, and Smith have worked on the mound for the Indians. Arrieta, Patton, O'Day, and Lindstrom. Lindstrom now becomes the pitcher of record for the Orioles, and we're not done yet apparently in the bullpen. Pedro Strop is up. Jim Johnson, you saw going by there. Billy Castro, the bullpen coach. Discussion had.
I'd love to add a couple, or at least one.
The way this game has gone.
Yep. Well, it used to, if you go back to when you had leads 2 weeks ago, kind of a done deal. That's changed a little bit, so get more. And a nice little hitting count for Robert Andino. He's sitting on a fastball.
And he'll foul it off. There have been no innings for the Indians and only one for the Orioles in this game, where the side's been retired in order. The Orioles were set down in the 3rd inning. Other than that, there have been base runners on in every inning for both teams. 2 ball, 1 strike count. And the count will be evened up at 2-2.
And again, you can see how good a sinker Joe Smith has. When he throws it for the middle plate, it just dives. It doesn't. It's got too much movement, and that was Scott Radinsky's point. Just believe in your stuff. Try to aim it. Try to make perfect pitches. It usually doesn't work.
2 ball, 2 strike count. Yeah, Smith comes back after starting 2-0.
Well, there we go again.
You've got to see that twice in one game.
Well, I was talking to Steve Busby's the first guy I ever saw it, and Jack McKeon was his manager. And the first time he ever did it, he threw it down the left field line, and you can tell you what Jack told him to do with that.
That's going to be across for a strike. Smith will get the strikeout. The Orioles will get the lead as they pick up a run on a couple of hits. They leave 2 on. The Orioles lead at 8-7. Flaherty with a go-ahead RBI. Bat 12 app for your iPhone, iPad, Android, BlackBerry, and Windows Mobile. Get live audio, pitch tracking, video highlights, and more. Text at bat 31826 or go to Orioles.com for details. So Les from will lead the ball game, having worked only a third of an inning. He leaves, though, as a pitcher of record. Strop on.
Well, and he got Kipnis out. He made a good pitch. That's tough out. Pedro last night, a little tune-up. 69% of the balls put in play on the ground. Lefties, righties, neither of them hit well. Keeps the ball in the ballpark, as you can see. Last night inning, a hit, a base on balls, and a strikeout. Really done a great job to get to Jim Johnson, the Oriole closer. See if he can do it tonight.
Well, seesaw game moves into the 8th inning. Indians 1-0. Orioles 3-1. 3-2. Indians dumped it back up again. Made it 5-3, 5-4. Orioles got the lead 7-5. Tied 7. Now 8-7. That's a lot of lead changes. Wow. That's one game, folks. And it is taken by Brantley. Brantley's had a single RBI walk. He is officially 1 for 3 at the plate. 3 hits, 6 at bats in the first 2 games of this 4-game series.
Well, 7 runs, 14 hits, the 11 left on base. Yeah, some opportunities tonight for the Indians. And they came in, as we mentioned, they had only scored 13 runs in their last 6 games. Started out in Houston, interleague play, went to New York. They would score some runs in New York. And they would lose all 3, but it would always be late in the game. Yep. Not enough.
0-2 delivery on the way to Brantley, and a big cut and got him.
Oh, well, I'll tell you what. Strop, that's the way you do it. When you can throw the ball in 96, 98, and then you can pitch with a good breaking ball down under the zone, it's perfect pitching. Because you know that Michael Brantley, excuse me, his dad is Mickey Brantley, was trying to speed up the bat because of the velocity. Perfectly pitched.
One division final in. Tampa Bay's ended their 4-game losing streak. They got a 4-2 win over the Tigers. How about the Tigers now are 3 games below 500. Down to third. Nice play by Andino. He's going to run it over there and gets the out. Trying to get it out of the glove. Joe West did not give the out sign to third, so he had to make the play.
Well, he's looked at him. Oh, Robert. Do it, baby. Well, he can pick it. His errors have come on throws. So Joe's going, well, probably caught it, but.
And Joe West was looking over the second base umpire, I think, see what he thought about that. That ball's going to go to short. Hardy on the backhand off Casey Kochman's bat. Wow. Holy cow. A 1-2-3 inning, sports fans. Put that one in your VCR and 8-track and all that stuff. Cross Blue Shield will contribute $50 to support the American Heart Association Heart Walk. To date, the Orioles have 217 walks for a total of $10,850. Care First Blue Cross Blue Shield encourages each of us to take that first step towards a healthier and more active lifestyle. What?
How was that vacation?
Vacation was very good, actually.
Yeah. Chris Perez, be back. Yeah, their closer comes in. Strop. That was a tough inning. 1, 2, 3 out. Perez there leads 23 saves. Hasn't really pitched in a week. I got the word that he thought he was coming in last night.
Yeah.
For a tune-up and wasn't happy when he didn't. But here he is.
Wow.
And his job, of course, we usually do it at home. Bring your closer in to keep it where it is. So he'll try to shut down the Orioles and then see what the Indians can do against Jim Johnson, who also got a tune-up inning last night.
Well, let's see if he can be effective here as we go to the bottom half of the 8th inning of a one-run ball game. Brian Roberts, leadoff batter. And first ball hitting, fouls it away. Reached on an error in the first, scored, singled, grounded out, and reached on a fielder's choice. Has a stolen base tonight. Brian gets the average back up to 200. Avery and Hardy to follow. Smith worked an inning, a run on 2 hits with a walk and a strikeout. He is now the pitcher of record for the Indians. And that is a strike to Roberts from Perez, and the count goes to 0-2. Orioles have to win number 42. They can get it in this game. Roberts the other way, curving to the corner, and just foul.
Yeah, you could see Aaron Cunningham putting his head down because he knew he may not catch up with it. Ball slicing away from him. And Perez not wasting any time. 3 pitches, 3 strikes.
Right back here tomorrow. It is a 4 o'clock game, remember, tomorrow, as it'll be game 3 of this 4-game set. Earl Weaver, the unveiling of the Earl of Baltimore statue, part of the Legend series this summer. The gates will open at 2 o'clock. Ceremonies at 2:15 tomorrow. So we hope you'll get out early. And then the ball game at 4. Dana Evelyn, Josh Tomlin are the scheduled starters for that one. And the Orioles Sunday will have Brian Mattis against Justin Masterson before heading out to Seattle for the 4th. 1-2 delivery on the way, and that's outside. And Perez takes the count to 2 balls and 2 strikes.
A nice little trade. Mark DeRosa, he goes over to the Cardinals. They want somebody that comes from a winning organization, and they get Chris Perez the last couple of years.
Just got enough to foul that one back.
So 23 saves this year, 36 last year for the Indians.
Maniacta counting on Perez down the stretch with a bullpen that struggled. And starters who are struggling too.
Yeah, they had a good bullpen last year. They were 5th in the American League, 3.71, so it's about a run higher this year. Not where they want it to be at this point.
2-2 delivery on the way, and Roberts threw the fastball. So Perez will get the strikeout. And one away here in the 8th inning. Our Chili's game flow. It has not been much of a steady flow. It's been a meandering river that's gone up and down with a number of falls. Each team's had the lead a couple of times. The Orioles able to get it back in the 7th inning on Flaherty's base hit, lead at 8-7.
I thought you were going to do an intro to National Geographic there. That was pretty good.
If you know anybody who can give me the job, give me a number. Swung on a miss. Good fastball. Avery, he's had a walk, driven in a run with a ground ball. He's grounded out 3 times, 0 for 3.
And it's not only the velocity 94-95, it's the late movement. It's running all over the place.
Like the meandering river. Here's the 0-1 delivery, and that will miss down low. You read the Teddy Roosevelt book, River of Death?
No.
Great book. Really, I'm serious. I don't know why that came up, but I'm certainly glad it did. 1 ball, 1 strike count. And Avery will put that to left field. Pretty good wood back near the wall. Goodbye! Home run! Xavier Avery delivers another long ball for the Orioles. And it is a 2-run game. His first of the year.
Well, the little guy would get a smile. You don't see too many. Not because he's not a good guy. It's just all business. Oh, there's your little add-on run. And last night it was Chu hitting a ball down the left field line. I mean, you can hit it 360, what, 67, 8, 9, 370, the opposite field. You're going to hit some home runs.
Number 1.
And that ball's up and away. And Perez just puts his head down. He's hoping it stays in the park, but not here.
Fouled away. Avery had 4 home runs in over 550 at bats last year at Bowie. He had 4 home runs at Frederick 2010, 7 on the year in 2010, and he gets his first major league home run. The 0-2 delivery will be outside. The Orioles now 9-7, getting 9 runs and 9 hits in the ball game. 1-2 delivery to Hardy, and he'll foul it back. The Orioles continue to rely on the home run. Only the Yankees have scored more runs via the homer, 52% compared to the Orioles at 46% coming into the ball game.
You know, all the advanced scouts, when they talk about minor league players in the last 2 or 3 years, Xavier Avery comes up. Again, having to learn here. Oh, there's your knee-high heater.
2 strikeouts for Perez.
But again, a lot of a natural ability, just trying to figure it out, and as he gets up the ladder. Well, that's some pretty good pop there. We'd love to see that. I always look at him and I think of Al Bumbry, who came to the big leagues his first year and was Rookie of the Year. Ended up hitting 337, stole a bunch of bases. Very much like Xavier. There's the Oriole closer.
So 2 down in the 8th. Here's Adam Jones. He has a 1-for-4 single. And he'll take that to second. The squeegee that goes the other way for a base hit. That ball had spin right off the bat. And the second baseman, Kipnis, moved to his left, and the ball moved to his right.
It's got to be a little frustrating. So Adam with a couple of hits, infield hit early on in the first, and what's that? What do they call that in pool? The mache?
Mache?
Yeah.
That's a base hit.
Oh, I can't wait to bring that up tomorrow.
And there are 2 down. 16 runs, 24 hits in the game. Batamete's been a big part of that. Double, single, RBI, runs scored, 2 for 4. So he's got 4 hits and 7 at bats in the series.
Because you always hear Adam telling how he would have slapped me around. I would say like that. How many bats can you break in one game?
Yeah. He ends up with a 2-for-4 ball game, or a 2-for-5 game. Perez with a 1-ball, 1-strike count. The Orioles up by a score of 9-7. 3 outs away from ending the 3-game losing streak. 1-1, and maybe not done scoring here. As the pitch is away, and Perez falls behind on the count, 2 balls and 1 strike.
Well, you can steal another base. That's in the rules.
Yep.
This game's certainly not a done deal, even though Jim Johnson is having one of those incredible years.
Perez has given up only a couple of home runs this year. Of course, as we said, he hasn't pitched very much. More concerned right now with getting that hitter than with worrying about Jones running. And a 2-ball, 2-strike count, 2 away. Runner goes. Grounded to first. Great stop. Kochman right on the bag, and there's the out. Cleveland has played some nice defense in this ball game at times. One of them was right there. One to be remembered. Xavier Avery, career first home run. 9-7 O's. Johnson brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. And by Dodge. See your authorized Dodge dealer and experience a world of performance, design, and fuel efficiency. Schedule a test drive or go to Dodge.com and check out their powerful lineup. Gary Thorne, Jim Palmer with you, 9th inning. All right, sports fans, buckle them up. Jim Johnson on the mound.
Yeah, usually you can kind of, well, you never want to drive without your seatbelt, of course. But if you're ever thinking about it, don't do that, of course. This is the guy because he's been terrific. Tune-up inning because he hadn't pitched since last Sunday. So he comes in last night. Yeah. Hit a couple of walks, strikeout. Kind of like Strop. Wanted to get a look. Maybe not as many pitches, but he's been awfully good.
So Jim Johnson trying to wrap this up for the Orioles. Facing Shelley Duncan. Duncan with only one at bat. He picked up a double. As he came on into the DH spot for Chisenhall. Chisenhall hit by a pitch and a broken collarbone in the wrist. And that is in there in a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Hanahan and then Marson, 7, 8, 9 in the order. This may be a night for ending the losing streaks. Toronto's ended their 3-game losing streak with a 7-4 win over the Angels tonight. Towards third, it's going to be a very tough play, and Dino can't get it.
Well, that's all they needed. Yeah, I mean, Robert playing deep, doesn't have a lot of speed. Sinker baller, gets the ground ball, but it's an infield hit. You could see him coming in and yep, trying to catch it. Couldn't get a handle on it. So they needed a base runner. They got it.
Potential tying run now will come to the plate. Jack Hanahan. Hanahan 1 for 3 in the ball game with a single, has also drawn a walk. And again, tight ball game that has just refused to be put away. Neither team being able to do it for very long, and certainly not very easily. Pitch is in there for a strike to him.
So again, he's the guy you concern yourself, and the Avery home run allows you to do that. They hold Duncan on, even though he doesn't run well. So it does open up that hole.
Oh, and delivers towards that hole. Brian Roberts bobbles. Will get the play at first base. 1 down. The runner moves up to second. Updating you on the voting for the AT&T Player of the Game. The results so far. You can text your vote in, A, B, or C, 31826. Results on the O's Extra Post Game Show. 1 down. Duncan on at second base. Lou Marson, the catcher, a single, a walk, get into a double play, and he's flied out. Marson seeing Jim Johnson for the first time.
And you can get the idea that Carlos Santana unable to pinch hit, because you would think this would be one of those situations.
Santana, the starting catcher, has missed the last 2 games. Tightness in the bad back. That's bothered him a bit, and has not been hitting well either. So
also, I think a little right rib injury, so certainly integral part of their offense and rest of the year as your catcher.
Marson will take it. It is there for a strike from Johnson, and the count is 1-1.
Yeah, last couple of outings, Jim Johnson has been so good. I mean, he comes in, his ERA a little over 1 run a game, 107, second in the American League. And but tonight the ball's sinking, and usually very effective when that's the case.
Here's the 1-1 delivery to him.
Yeah, I mean, look at the bottom drop out of that sinker at 95.
This has been a ball club Jim Johnson has had trouble with. His record against the Indians is 0-4. 1 for 2 in save opportunities with a 5.6 ERA. Indians have scored 6 runs, 14 hits in 9 2/3 innings against him. Count is 1-2 on Marston. Duncan on at second base. 1-2 delivery and a big cut and a miss.
Yeah, the invisible sinker. Can't quite get to it. I mean, velocity, movement. Watch this ball just underneath the bat. There it is. There it isn't.
Matt Lidstrom, a chance to get his first one of the year, would be 1-0. Joe Smith could take the loss. He would be 5-2. And Jim Johnson, of course, is trying to pick up the save, which would be number 23. But 1 more round needed.
Yeah,
here's Chu.
Yeah, this is a guy that has the power. And did he
check swing? They check at third. No. Chu has had a couple of singles in the game.
Nice little call by Joe West. Got it right. And we've seen power to all fields. Homer down the left field line last night.
Chu is 0 for 1 off Jim Johnson. Duncan remains on at second base. 1-0 count. Outside corner strike.
With a changeup. Yeah, the one thing about Jimmy Johnson, turned 29 a couple of days ago. You look at a lot of numbers. I want the recent numbers. He's got smarter and he throws harder and he's got a great game plan. He's certainly assimilated himself to being a closer.
1-1 delivery to Chu is foul back. So 1 strike away. 1 ball, 2 strike count, 2 down, 9th inning. The Orioles lifted by home runs. Wieters with a 3 RBI homer. Avery putting up the 9th run with a solo shot. Couple of RBIs along the way for Avery in the ball game. 1-2 the count. Johnson's delivery, and that's going to be a base hit. Game not over. Rounding is Duncan. He will score, and it is a 1-run ball game. Chu gets his 3rd hit, his 2nd RBI, and makes it 9-8.
Yeah, they play Chu to pull, and he just kind of hits it back up the middle. So maybe a little more. Well, the ball runs right to the corner. And you get an idea of why leading off. I mean, you can see Brian Robert in the hole, so he can't get to it. And again, he's the tying run.
Now the ever dangerous Asdrubal Cabrera. Cabrera's 2 for 5 off Jim Johnson. Runner at first, 2 away. A home run and a single tonight. And the pitch is inside for a ball. So we showed you during the ball game earlier, these two teams are 1-2 in the American League in 1-run ball game win percentage. The Indians are 12-3, the Orioles 13-6, and we are in a 1-run ball game. 1-0 delivery, that's put up in the air. Coming on is Avery, should be the game. Orioles win it. 9th inning, a run on a couple of hits with a potential tying run left on base. The Orioles have a 9-8 win in a ball game, just studded with runs and base hits and a lot of base runners. It is a comeback win for the Orioles, and they even up this 4-game set at 1-1. Final, Orioles 9, Indians 8.